yo, yo. We're here, yo, yo. Yo, yo. Excuse me. Yo, yo. Okay, we get to see the new shit. People have been posting new stuff. You know, imagine if I was part of the partner program. You want to talk about selling games and selling dwarves? I could sell a couple Dowie. Yo, yo. Wait, didn't I tell you to not buy that box? You shouldn't have bought that box. You should have waited, to be fair. Because I even looked at it and I'm like, there's things missing. There was stuff missing. I don't think it was full. I mean, the thing about, is this like a local listings thing? Because I feel like, unless it explicitly said what you get and you didn't get that, I think he's just going to be like, well, it's what was pictured. You know what I mean? That's usually how they do things. It's like, whatever the hell is pictured in these images, I'll give you for this much money. Something like that. But either way. All right. It is time to watch the new Dwarf DLC content. Oh, well, okay, there you go. Get your money back. I'd get your money back completely. That's what I'd do. Fuck that. Take the money and go away. Don't. The old world's coming back, dude. You can get everything for like a retail price, right? Okay. Yo, it's time to watch the DLC. And then maybe play a couple games and then go offline and play League. All right. Let's go take a look at the DLC. Total War. We're good, we're chilling. We are Bing chilling. So there was one video put out by Milk and Cookies Total War. I think that was the only person who had covered the Dwarf multiplayer stuff outside of, like, the rework. And honestly, the rework in campaign doesn't really concern me too much. I'm not really going to be playing campaign. So we'll take a look at the Dwarven DLC. Multiplayer games with Dwarven stuff, or maybe a campaign battle with Dwarven stuff, whatever it is, either way.
Dowie.
Okay. Good. Let's give it a whirl. I had skimmed the video for like 2 seconds, and I'm not gonna lie, the Thunder Barge looks so fucking big. I think it was deceptively sized in the trailer. Like, the angles of it made it look not as large, but in-game, it's fucking massive. It's utterly massive. Okay. It is, like, absolutely deceptively large. Like, it's large. It's very big. And, I mean, to be fair, it is based on the artwork of this unit. Obviously, most things are. But, like, the shields are massive. I thought the shields were just, like, Dwarf Warrior shields. They're just bigger than that. It looks pretty nutty.
Fans rejoice. I think you've just found your new super weapon. Thunder Barge is one of 3 new centerpiece units coming in Thrones of Decay, alongside the Marienburg Landship for the Empire.
Look at that big
and
engine,
Toad Dragon
that big
for
steam
Nurgle.
engine.
And in terms of rock killing power, there are very few units
I mean, this thing is massive. It's so fucking big. Again, I honestly had thought the shields would be about the right size for, like, dwarf warriors. Yeah, they're not. They're big. Everything about this is big. I wonder if this is even, like, an option.
I have ever seen that can unleash as much devastation so consistently and so quickly as this new airship. It is an army killer. Super fun and super devastating. The kind of unit that will make you want to play dwarfs. Equipped with a pair of swivel cannons, cracked.
Wait. Oh, those are just handguns. Never mind. Wait, they really do all the stuff in the trailer. They've got, like, rangers, ranger-looking people on top of it. They've got, looks like handguns.
Make you want to play dwarfs. Equipped with a pair of swivel cannons.
I love that an engineer is flying it. Like, if there's going to be anyone flying something like this, no shit, it'd be an engineer. Yeah.
Crack team of Grudge Raker shotgunners.
Oh, they get Grudge. These guys get Grudge Raker shotguns. I wonder if that's like the anti-air. Because if they kind of get jumped on by like dog shit anti-air units, I'd be surprised if this thing couldn't defend itself.
Cracks beneath its mighty frame and a huge harpoon gun. Functions like a magic missile for sniping out expensive targets. It truly does live up to its reputation as the apex of dwarf technological marvels, despite all its quirks and imperfections. So we're going to spend this video showing it off in all its glory, talking about its capabilities, what it can do in practical scenarios, and how to potentially...
That's cool, dude. It like, well, I mean, it floats around like a giant fucking longboat, and you've got people on the sides kind of like raining down shotgun shells, right? Like, that's cool.
Counter it, which isn't as simple as it sounds. You'd think, oh yeah, just shoot it, right?
Cool.
Or maybe send some flyers after it. But in my experience so far, it's rarely that straightforward. Now, I'm not allowed to show any battles of myself playing as the new units yet, but I am allowed to show battles against them. And I've been punished by this thing quite a few times over the last few days, so if nothing else, it should be quite entertaining to watch my armies make explode. Looking at stats, the Dwarf Thunder Barge is a whopping 2,800 gold, pushing Shudder of Lustria tier.
2,800 gold. Maybe I should load up the game to a degree.
One of the most expensive single entities in the game, and for that price, you'd certainly hope to.
120 armor, buff leadership, speed is 30, so it's ass. Melee defense, melee attack is ass, as it should be. Weapon strength 500, missile strength buffed at 1.2k. Bro thinks he's Scarbrand. The shooting Scarbrand. It's got physical resist, magic resist.
To have a ton of killing power, which it certainly does. It is functionally unbreakable, not technically so, but with 100 plus leadership, I have not seen it rout yet, and it has 13,000 HP with 120 armor. Not easy to kill at all, not with missiles and not...
How do the greenskins kill this? Let's be honest here. How do the greenskins kill this? How do the greenskins beat this in multiplayer? If there's greenskins anywhere, do you shoot doom divers into it? What do you do against this? Your shooting is so ass. I don't think you do. Well, board it with what? Do you have, like, people get thrown into the thing? Like, error boy spam? I mean... Oh, he's got Malachi here.
In melee. As expected, terrible melee attack, terrible melee defense, and slow speed of all kinds. From turning to acceleration to straight line sprinting, 30 speed is the speed of a dwarf hoofing it on foot. That's terrible, right? Wrong, because in reality...
Thunder Burner. Active ability. Gain 200 speed. Oh, but you take damage per second. So you gain a bunch of speed, you're just like burning it. Right? Speed, turn speed, acceleration. Cooldown is 1 second. You can basically spend HP to move faster. Nah.
In reality, this beast moves at 90 speed, not 30, with an active ability called Thunder Burner. The cost of 25 to 50 DPS dealt in self-damage, it can turn on the jets and maneuver like a fighter plane, outrunning dragons, eagles, bloodthirsters, and all sorts of other flying creatures. In theory, 95 speed is faster than 90 speed, which means lots of flyers should be able to catch it, but when the difference is that incremental, it can actually just completely outrun them before their animation finishes, which means they oftentimes don't land an attack. Spear of Grungni is a vicious harpoon gun mounted on the front of the balloon, used for dealing heavy burst damage against high-value targets from 300 range, and though it says it has a range of 1, the stats are a bit weird and misleading because it has like 6 different weapon components, and they all have their own ranges and roles. Grudge Raker shotgun teams on the port and starboard side will shoot to about 90 range or so at a really impressive clip. They fire not like machine guns, but almost like that, like semi-auto rifles, dealing consistent and accurate AP damage that racks up very quickly. Swivel cannons can fire maybe up to 200 range with a roughly 250 degree fire arc that covers the front of the ship, enemies directly below and even slightly behind. And when it flies over the top of units, it will automatically drop volleys of gyro bombs that will paste friend and foe alike.
There are no bomb mechanics. It just drops bombs, gyro bombs. It auto bombs units if you walk over them. Let me hear that again.
Swivel cannons can fire maybe up to 200 range with a roughly 250 degree fire arc that covers the front of the ship, enemies directly below and even slightly behind. And when it flies over the top of units, it will automatically drop volleys of gyro bombs.
This thing's 3,000 gold though. But it automatically, I honestly had thought it was going to be an ability where like you play it as a gyrocopter. It automatically drops bombs. Well, it does kill your own units, yeah. This game has friendly fire.
That will paste friend and foe alike. So everything on this ship, in terms of its shooting anyway, is completely automated. You don't have to issue attack orders. You don't have to release.
Everything is completely automated. Even the harpoon. I don't know. Everything is automated. That feels a little bit... It feels a bit sus for multiplayer. I mean, you kind of just walk it around. You maybe click something, and then it targets things. The harpoon's an ability? Okay.
Bombs, it will do it all for you. All you need to do is position to maximize the carnage it can unleash, and goddamn, it can unleash a lot, which means keeping it moving so it can fire down the length of enemy formations with the swivel guns and lining up for bombing runs while the Grudge Rakers continue to pour in that fire. To get a general picture of what even the AI can do with it, this was a quick demonstration I set up with the High Elves, Alathanar, bunch of elite infantry, and 4 Lothran Sea Guard,
the shit out of it.
the Dwarf Horde, Malachi, and the Thunder Barge. And it racks up 300 kills and 3,500 damage value.
What does it loes like when it dies? Does it just like crash and burn?
In 2.5 minutes, while leaving Thunderburner on for literally no reason and getting shot by Alathanar and 4 units of archers. Ends the battle with 400 kills and 4,200 damage value. Also has a pretty sick death animation as it plummets from the sky. First to try his hand against this behemoth was Epidemius, the Talisman of Nurgle, and the new free legendary lord. Played maybe 4 or 5 battles against the Thunder Barge so far, and a few using it myself, and I've got a fairly good grasp on what it can do at this point, but obviously some of these were very early games. Countering it is going to be a learning experience, and...
Okay, so this is the new... There's the Slayer Pirates. There's the Goblin Hewer. Here's the Doom Seekers. This is the, I assume... Dragon Slayer? I think it's the Dragon Slayer. Yeah. Demon Slayer, Dragon Slayer. It's one of the two. I mean, either way. Demon Slayer? Okay.
You can kind of see me try and adapt and try new things throughout the course of this video.
I mean, he looks cool. I honestly don't see... If this is a lord... He's probably... I mean, he's just going to be a cheaper version of Ungrim, right? I wonder if even Ungrim's going to get changes to be more like a lord, so there's reasons to take these people.
It's probably one of the scariest elements about...
Pirate Slayers, that's cool, yeah. Don't you just love how fucking ugly they all look? Like, that's such a dwarf thing. Look at this dude's big, disgusting nose. With the like, the big nose rings, and I mean, these guys are, that's awesome. They're
about
great.
It right now when it comes to army selection.
This guy's got a peg leg.
That's
great.
You have to game plan for it. You have to bring counters that maybe wouldn't be
ugly.
So good.
You're going in the book.
Dwarf build.
Okay, I don't think dwarves are renowned for their beauty.
You will freaking
but that's
die.
what's so. That's
just the threat, the possibility
appealing.
that it's on the field changes how you compose your armies, and that can give the dwarfs a leg up before battles even join. As I said, very few units in the trilogy that can do what the Thunder Barge can right now. Epidemius just deep-throated a big ol' spear of Grungni from across the map, waddling, trundling forward. He has some pretty cool abilities. Epidemic Outburst is his escape, deals damage and massively slows opponents. Tallyman's Blades is his summon. Exalted Plague Bears can appear in an opponent's back line, which can be very strong. Especially
Exalted Plague Bears as a summon? Oh my god.
when they open up with those biological grenades. And then the Sands of Sickness is a chain hex that reflects melee damage and improves vigor for allies, while lowering speed and melee defense for enemies. And that can spread up to 5 times. We're going to go a lot more in-depth on the other units soon.
Oh, look at the
Dawi
Doomseekers. That's sick.
Have a ton
Look
of
at them.
replays for the Empire, Nurgle, and the Dwarfs, of course. Video ideas to get to, but I have multiple replays to show. In this one, the focus is obviously on the Thunder Barge, so trying to keep it fairly short and sweet. Not going to go too in-depth on the specifics for each of those new units, like the Doomseekers, Goblin Hewer, and all that.
Yeah, there's the
Now,
Grudge
I would
Rakers.
not recommend a full demon army against the Dwarfs. I don't think for any of the faction that's really the play. Maybe you can get away with that with Slanesh, but certainly not with Nurgle. A Plague Bearer front line does not have the speed or killing power required against traditional armored dwarf play, but it's not.
The Doomseeker animations are sick though. When they obviously have to get in combat, but when they start throwing their shit around, it looks like Kratos. That's literally what it just looked like. If you look at the bottom right here, or the bottom middle, it actually just looks like Kratos. That's cool. Yeah, they've got cool animations.
You can get away with that with Slanesh, but certainly not with Nurgle. A Plague Bearer front line does not have the speed or killing power required against traditional armored dwarf play, but it's not traditional dwarf play here. It's actually not going to be the worst thing, because the Dawi barely brought armor. It's a Doomseeker and Slayer Pirate Corps, with the Grudge Raker Regiment of Renown in the rear, and a Demon Slayer leading the army. So with that Hound ambush coming in from behind, Pox Riders supporting the main assault, and Epidemius summoning Exalted Elites onto the battlefield, then dropping those Sands of Sickness, this initial push is going to be pretty decent. A lot of good engagements for Nurgle. They're making their way into the meaty part of their center, but all the while that Thunder Barge is on high, and it is blowing the shit out of a lot of stuff. And the only thing Nurgle has to kill it are Exalted Plague Bearer throws from the biological grenades, or the Plague Ridden on the Rotfly. And he does have 450 weapon strength, majority AP, so that's not the worst thing in the world. Right now, just dropping the Afterburn and running for his life, and you can see we got 13,000 HP. 25 to 50 DPS is just not a lot of self-damage to literally escape Bloodthirsters or Greater Demons, anything that might actually be able to kill it in melee. That's totally worth it. Every single time, you can kind of forget about leaving it on and not really have to worry about it, because it will do the majority of its damage in those first 3 or 4 minutes anyway. So as long as it stays alive that long, it's probably going to get its value back if it just sits on top of an army and it shoots. Every single time I've seen it used so far, it pays for itself. Just blowing stuff up with those cannons, those swivel guns, and those Grudge Rakers on the flanks. But obviously not being pressured very much right now. Not sure when the Dwarfs are going to bring the Thunder Barge, so sometimes you don't want to commit too heavily to trying to kill it. And this is a learning experience right now to see what it can do if you don't put a bunch of emphasis on taking it out early.
The Grudge
so
Raker
far,
Thunders
Nurgle appears to be doing just fine. They are in the lead. Balance of power is in their favor, but with only the Rotfly and the
I was going to say the accuracy on this thing seems pretty legit. Even the spread of like shooting from all the people on top seems like it actually hurts, and it does so much. Like it's shitting on Plague Toads. Like with shotguns. Oh, like, okay, gotcha. Nurgle for the win. I don't know about that.
Trying to top it, exerting
gets
any
just one
influence over the
summons.
skies.
Yeah.
The airship can just start laying
chances
down
are
the
maybe
law,
2.
dropping the hammer
Hopefully
with this
one, but
black
I doubt
powder
it.
bonanza. And the Hound ambush from behind utterly failed, because Slayer Pirates and the ROR Grudge Rakers aren't like other ranged troops. They will crush dogs in melee. So even now that Epidemius and the Pox Riders are atop them, Slayer Pirates can...
Look at the Pirate Slayers, like, attire. They've got the booze, they have, like, the fucking biker jackets. Some of them don't even have hair. All of them don't even have hair. That's sick. That's such a sick unit. If only they had Long Drong, the character.
Hold on pretty damn well here, and they're going to do that. They're going to buy some time for the airship to really start shifting things back in the Dwarf's favor. It's now above the Exalted Plague Bears and just laying into them with those swivel guns. And as they move in to throw some more noxious grenades, they're going to take the full brunt of a massive Grudgeraker volley and more punishment from on high. 4,500 HP.
Bro, I'm just looking at this DLC, like, everyone just gets shot to shit. Like, the one thing I don't like about the DLC, at least for the sake of multiplayer, is that people are now going to take even more shooting against dwarves, and it makes the matchups even more boring. Just because there's, like, that wild card of the Thunder Barge being a thing, and that's even if they want to go kill it. To be fair, some armies can't even kill it. Like, again, orcs and goblins, how do you kill this thing? I have no idea. But, like, the mid-range shooting of dwarves is so powerful. So powerful. Empire weapons teams? You mean, dude, I don't even know what people are going to run, honestly. I mean, this thing has no range, realistically. Like, most of the good dwarven shooting comes from mid-range, unless it's like a cannon or, like, thunderers kind of have distance, but, you know, Drake guns, blasting charges, troll hammers, like, Grudgeraker, thunderers. It's all mid-range.
Not gonna last very long. They will crumble out, and very quickly, Nurgle is losing steam. This has not been a long battle, man. The entire demonic army seems to crumble out within 3.5 minutes. So it's mostly leaving the plague-ridden Epidemius and a handful of Exalted Plague Bearers, a few Pox Riders as well. Slayer army is in tatters too. The Doomseekers, the Miners, and the remnants of the Slayer Pirates all taking a ton of damage. But yeah, the Thunder Barge is up to 3,300 value, has earned silver chevrons. I believe it started this game with only 1 bronze chevron, so it's already earned 3, and Epidemius is doing what he can to keep them in the fight. He's got a lot of HP, almost 8,000, so he's a tank lord for sure. They don't have a lot of single target damage left on the Dwarf roster, but the Thunder Barge with the swivel guns actually deal some pretty good DPS in that way. Already used the magic missile from across the map earlier in the game, that Spear of Grungni. Rotfly trying to get out of the fire arc of those ROR Grudgerakers. Doesn't want to take a point-blank volley from the shotguns, because that's where you'll really find yourself devastated. Pox Riders are into their rear, but the Dragon Slayer, rather Demon Slayer Lord, is supporting. Looks like the Pox Riders are about to crumble out. That will leave the Legendary Lord and the Hero as the only units remaining. They should be able to clear out some of the stragglers and hit them with some streams of corruption from the flank, but they cannot take down the Thunder Barge. And Epidemius is going to receive its full attention from those 2 cannons up front. Rotfly and the Plague Ridden will fall momentarily as well. Grudgerakers smacking the Herald of Nurgle in the face. And 200 kills, double silver chevrons, 5,000 value for the Dawi Thunder Barge in this battle, and certainly carried the day. So we got more replays to show you. Khorne 1 and a Chaos Dwarf 1. We got 206 kills, double silver chevrons, 5,000 value almost. Freakishly good in a battle where we didn't invest that much in trying to kill it. Now, let's play one where we do, where we know it's coming and try our best to kill it before it can utterly devastate our entire army.
This is the biggest
Regiment of Renown,
here.
Bloodthirster, bonus versus large, and the Gore Shell damage resist. Khorne's Bloody Fist is kind of the archetype for unit that I would expect would hard counter a Thunder Barge. Gets into melee, rips it up in seconds, it dies. Spear of Grungni across the map, just missed. Nicely dodged by the flyers there. Thunder Barge is 2,800 gold, so the supporting cast for the Dwarfs will be lessened, of course. Not going to see as many infantry on the field for them. Relatively elite army for Khorne as well. Only 2 Marauders in the front ranks. 2 Chosen of Khorne. Really good unit against the Dwarfs. They'll rip up pretty much anything on their roster in melee. Herald of Khorne on a Jug, and the Knights of the Brazen Throne. Very expensive unit, can be a bit risky to bring, just because the Dwarfs have the slows and the AP that can kind of focus fire your units down. But if they stay alive, they can rip up like half the Dawi army, especially most of their range.
That's Garagrim. Garagrim is right there.
Range play. The Thunder Barge is that big question. How do you kill it? And you would certainly think 2 Furies and the Bloodthirster can handle that task, especially because the Dwarfs don't have a lot of ranged firepower on the ground below to support it. As long as those Trollhammer torpedoes are shut down, the Slayer Pirates don't get really good volleys in, it should be fine. So Chosen of Corn already down to half HP, getting bombed into oblivion. Brutal start for them, but not entirely unexpected. If they're getting shot, that means Fleshhounds of Corn and the Juggernauts are going to have free reign to charge in from the rear, and that is what they are going to do, straight into the Slayer Pirates to shut down their shooting.
Is just dead.
And
it's
the
dead.
Dwarf
It's
Warriors
just dead.
in the back.
If this thing gets caught by any of those things,
losing
it's
about
done.
a fourth of their health. So the Furies and Bloodthirster are
because now
on
the
target.
game is completely
They are
unplayable for
surrounding
the
or
Thunder
attempting
Barge.
to surround the Thunder Barge, and
although it's
it
not
has
really doing that much
activated
damage,
its Afterburner. And this part is interesting because it's at 90 speed, which is less than Furies and Bloodthirsters, but you'll notice that they are not getting any attacks off whatsoever.
Yeah, what
so
the
you're
fuck?
trading at 25 to 50 DPS for not getting chunked by 500 weapon strength. Pop. It's a pretty.
And the crazy thing about that is it's auto-firing. So, like, if you were to put this thing on skirmish mode, which I'm assuming you can, skirmish mode basically allows units that are being chased to start running away automatically. You don't have to micromanage them. I don't know how good skirmish mode is, to be fair, but, like, this thing will auto-shoot everything around it and kill them. So it potentially just has self-peel, right, as was said earlier. I mean, the Furies got fucked up. I don't even know what the Furies are dying to, if it's just, like, the shotguns going into them. If you take a cannon, you can't take a barge, probably too expensive. The barge is, like, 2,800 gold. I mean, it has, like, 10,000 HP. Like, this thing isn't going to die. Yeah. Not to mention, you could throw... Not to mention, you want to make this thing even more disgusting? Throw runes on it. I don't even know what, like... What could you throw on it? I mean, engineer buffs as well. It's a war machine, is it not? Runa speed. I mean, the melee attack won't matter on the Runa speed, even though it has 5... No, it has no weapon. No, it's got nothing. Never mind. Weapon strength is 500. What is that weapon strength? Like, in campaign, you get insane runes. I was thinking, like, Runa negation. 40% damage reduction on this thing would be insane. Rune of Disguise, 20%. Well, I'm talking about multiplayer, though, to be fair. I'm not really a big campaign guy. I feel like in campaign, you'll get more value out of this thing just because you have more options, right? You overestimate dwarf players' APM. Okay, let's be honest, though. Were the dwarves ever known for their fucking, like micromanagement? Like, they're dwarves. How much micro do you have? Like, what do you want me to do? If I'm playing multiplayer, half my army is so stagnant we don't even move. Honestly, that's what I thought, too, initially. It's like, why doesn't it have manual bombs? Because the idea of it randomly bombs things when you fly over them is kind of janky. It sounds a bit jank. You know, it maybe could have been given, like, I don't know, 30 bombs, and you do get to micro them. Micro short? Yeah, well, there is friendly fire in this game, and for them to be able to throw bombs randomly, it is a bit sus.
Pretty big deal, and that does allow the Slayer Pirates to get some shots in.
These animations
on the
are
Furies
sick.
and clear some of those out. Fury's now going into melee to shut down the Troy with torpedoes. Doomseekers and Chosen fighting it out in melee. I believe that is the Brotherhood of
Look at this
Grimnir.
thing.
Really cool unit. We'll get more focused on them in a...
It's literally self-peeling air units. It's shitting on Furies. Like, and the Furies are getting dumped on. Either the... I mean, there's a unit of Thunderers shooting into them, but, like, at the same
couple
time...
replays soon. And a few of the dwarf units on the periphery have been picked off. Skull Crushers of Corn are circling and waiting for a good opportunity to strike.
Look at the damage it's
Man,
doing
they're
to
getting
Skull
chomped
Crushers.
by
Oh
those
my
Grudge Rakers
God.
and cannons on high. Already down to 2/3 health, and that will continue to
I don't know
drop.
what the melee
We
damage
get a
is, to be
really
honest.
good
I don't
flank
know what that's
charge into
from.
the Brotherhood of Grimnir to free up the Chosen and collapse into the center.
Yeah, look at Garagrim.
But already
Bottom.
that Thunder
Let's
Barge
go.
is... I mean, it is killing the entire Cornate army.
Oh,
Almost
those are troll
single-handedly. I mean, the Fleshhounds of Corn were killed off by the Slayer Pirates, and the Troy with torpedoes
Yeah,
got
okay.
some good volleys in on the Furies, but
Oh,
other than
that's
that,
why.
almost all the killing power of this army belongs to the Thunder Barge, and in the span of about 3 minutes, oh my, dude, look at this, man. That is in to free up the Chosen and collapse into the center, but already.
Okay, by the way, like, Skull Crushers are extremely fucking tanky. 130 armor is kind of a lot. This thing has, like, Troll Hammer shotguns.
That Thunderbarge is, I mean, it is killing
Like,
the entire Coordinate army almost single-handedly. I mean, the Fleshhounds of Khorne were killed off by the Slayer Pirates, and the Trollhammer Torpedoes got some good volleys in on the Furies, but other than that, almost all the killing power of this army belongs to the Thunderbarge, and in the span of about 3 minutes, oh my dude,
yeah,
look at this, man. That is insane. Knights of the Brain.
do you see the damage that's being dealt to these fucking things? Look at the health go down. This isn't normal. Like, I'm pretty sure even, like, the only thing you could rival that with was maybe a volley of Troll Hammers or, I mean, Giant Slayers. Like, that's insane. It's auto-shooting everything around it, and it's doing the damage of, like, I mean, to be fair, it's a 3,000 gold unit, and it only shoots things, but, like, that's insane. It's basically just taking out the most top-tier units in an army for 2 seconds of flying by. Which, to be fair, it's going to be nerfed. Turn's going to be flipping his keyboard. I'm sure he's got a lot to say, because this thing
Power
is...
of this army.
If the dwarves couldn't be any more brain dead in terms of, like, let's just kind of walk around and do things, this kind of seals the deal. Like, this, it's an auto-piloting, auto-playing, like, like, it plays the game for you, right? And it does so much damage.
Belongs to the Thunderbarge.
And it still has full
and in
ammunition.
The span of about
it hasn't even tanked ammunition. I mean, to be fair, that's the one thing I'm like, when you take gyrocopters typically spam all of their ammunition. It's gone. You have to replenish it, at least in multiplayer, for it to be valuable. This thing never runs out of ammo. So that's going to be so frustrating to fight, I'm not going to lie. Thematically, it's amazing. And no one complains about more Warhammer stuff. That's cool. But for the sake of multiplayer, people will complain because it is multiplayer. It's player versus player. It's people killing each other. It's a completely different game from campaign. Campaign is like, you know, here's the AI enemy army. Let's walk into my 3 Thunderbarges, and it's just thematic. It's thematic and fun, right? That's the idea. Below deck. I mean, for sure. I'm just saying, it's like, to be fair, for a unit that's completely based on shooting, and it's got 3,000 gold going into it, and you can chevron it, so it's like potentially even more than 3,000 gold. Queen Bess versus this. Queen Bess is so ass. Just make the bombs manual. That's what I was thinking, and the self-damage for the speed boost should be a bit more. Yeah, I would agree. I mean, to be fair, this thing is going to come out and probably get nerfs, right? Again, I don't even know how some factions beat this. I have no clue. Off the top of my head, I said it before. How do greenskins even fight dwarves? The Regiment of Renown, he said, was like a Thunderer unit, and then he maybe said something about like a Doomseeker unit, I think. Yeah, you just can't do anything. You're shooting his ass. Your army is just a bunch of infantry and elites, which are ass to this thing. Does he really give them food? Okay. They do add broken things and they nerf them? Oh, there you go. Oh, do they add broken things and then nerf them? Probably, yeah. There's an Iron Drake ROR. Well, are we talking about new units? Because, like, there's the Skolder Guard, which are anti-infantry, like, armor-piercing Iron Drakes. It's a bit weird. I don't think anyone plays Skolder Guard. Azag. Can you Spirit Leech individual units? Could you Spirit Leech the Thunderbarge? Is that even a thing? I mean, it's got like 12,000 health, though. You can? Okay. So maybe, like, Spirit Leech it, and out of the top of my, I don't know, like, let's just say Copium, can you shoot it with, like, Goblin Doom Divers? Spirit Leech spam, Goblin Doom Divers, and Prey? Gaze of Mork? I don't even know some of the magic they've got. Doom Divers will never miss the thing. Yeah, I was thinking, because, like, Doom Divers are pretty good. But then again, I think the problem with this is that, because multiplayer, at least in terms of like, I'm not talking about good players, just like casual ladder play. When you see this, and it's an option for dwarves, people will spam shooting and make the game unfun. And of course, you could play the Thunder Barge and make the game unfun for people, which, yeah, okay, I understand. Rusty Arrow Goblins that shred armor. So you've got the Rusty Arrows, you've got, like, Doom Divers and a Spirit Leech, maybe. And then Azhag running after this thing. I don't know if he's relevant. I mean, I'm sure the Troll Hag also has Spirit Leech. Magic won't even affect it because it's got 35% magic resist. True. Factual. I mean, it's something, though. It's a consistent bout of damage, even if you lose 35% of it. Spirit Leech versus 13,000 won't be held. What? Yeah. That's fine. When are you going? Well, right now it's 12. Well, it's 11:42. Okay, so you've got 50 minutes. 35% resist on a 13,000 HP unit. Two cannons in your army. And I mean, this whole game is just like chess. Well, not really chess. Because chess is always like, you know what you're getting into. When it comes to just like casual ladder play, who the fuck knows what people are going to play? Right?
3 minutes? Oh my, dude, look at this, man. That is insane. Knights of the Brazen Throne were half HP 15 seconds ago. They're dead now. They're just dead. Khorne's Bloody Fist has been on the Thunder Barge the entire game, and it doesn't care.
He can't even catch the thing. Actually, no, he can catch it. He's beating it up. What? No. Your food is on top. Okay.
It just afterburns and ignores it. Hasn't really been taking damage from it at all. Almost all the damage it's taken has been self-inflicted from that
really?
afterburn, which again, it doesn't matter if you're taking afterburn damage if you're killing the entire enemy army in the span of 3.5, 4 minutes, right? Like, it doesn't matter at all. You will take that trade every single time. So, it's that Silver Chevrons again. It was, well, we tried to hard counter it here with the Bloodthirster and with the Furies, and it did not go very well. Killed the entire army. We're going to concede. It's over. Let's try a game where we do successfully counter it and talk about what that means. Confluence of factors there for sure. I did not play that perfectly by any stretch of the imagination. And Khorne is ass right now. One of the worst factions in multiplayer currently. Thunder Barge is doing what it should do, which is be very powerful, kill lots of stuff as a floating bastion.
Bro, look how ugly Garagrim looks. It's so glorious. Look at his portrait. Fuck, that guy's ugly. That's great. Like, that's probably got to be the ugliest portrait I've ever seen for the dwarves. It's the second with 21 kills. It just looks like a... I don't even know how to explain that. It's good. It's good is what I mean. I don't mean ugly by, oh my god, it's horrific. It's like, that's awesome. What an ugly looking dude. Blame his father.
If the Afterburn is going to allow it to outrun Bloodthirsters and Furies and other flyers while taking minimal to zero damage in melee, then the Afterburn needs to be way more punishing on the self-damage. My elite Regiment of Renowned Bloodthirster got 900 value in the time it took the Thunder Barge to get 4,000 and essentially kill all my most important units. I think we all agree a Greater Demon and a Horde of Furies should be a hard counter in melee to an airship. In its current form, I think there are going to be some factions that realistically can't do much to counter the Thunder Barge if it's in the hands of a competent opponent. The AI doesn't know how or when to use Afterburn. It doesn't seem to do a good job of positioning the airship so that everything can actually fire. So if the AI gets their hands on these in the campaign, it might still hurt you, but it's probably not going to, like, solo your army. If it's crewed by a competent pilot, however, it's a different story. And, like, I don't know what Khorne or Slaanesh.
Was that just the Thunder Barge? Am I brain dead, or was that just the Thunder Barge? I don't see any cannons. Unless they've updated the portrait of cannons, I don't see cannons anywhere. Regular cannons?
Supposed to do
is that them?
right now? Like, it will kill you. And it'll kill you just by sitting there. Now, this was a Chaos Dwarf versus Malachi Makaisen game.
Oh,
this
it is,
one was
you're right.
Interesting. So Malachi buffs up artillery. He's going to give them some really nice stuff, like additional accuracy, range, and missile damage. And you can see my magma cannon is just getting absolutely...
Malachi gives accuracy, range, and missile damage. Range, accuracy, missile damage? I mean, what if you just also buff them with like a regular engineer? Does taking Malachi forfeit taking engineers? Because that's so, I mean, again, for multiplayer, it's like, who can fight that? Sniper elite cannons. Bro, dwarves are so frustrating, but you can only love them. And if you don't love dwarves, you don't love Warhammer. It's as simple as that. But that's cheesy.
Destroyed from downtown. Take a look right here. We got the Artillery Master and Eyes of Grungni.
Oh.
Reload skill, range.
Okay, let me look at that again, actually. Because this is one of the things I would want to see.
Destroyed from downtown. Take a look right here. We got the Artillery.
Accuracy 30%. Reload speed plus 10.
Master and
the Eyes of Grungni range plus 10%. Okay, it's not that much. Armor piercing, base missile damage. Okay. Yeah, I mean, they'll still probably win most shootouts and kind of just shit on you before you can actually retaliate.
Eyes of Grungni. Reload skill, range, accuracy. Just instant kill.
It's not bad. Like 30%
pretty sick to watch because there aren't very many lords or heroes that actually buff up artillery in this game.
Actually
People don't typically bring engineers to like make their artillery better, at least in multiplayer. But even in campaign, it's not really that uncommon of a strat. So to just see those cannons utterly decimate one of my most important units was really interesting to watch and very impressive. So here the Thunder Barge is moving up. I have brought the Death Streaker rocket launcher to counter it and some blunderbuss, which are fairly common pick against the Dawi anyway. And it is moving too far forward right now. Thunder Barge should realistically be further back above its own artillery, just killing off all this infantry as it comes in. No real reason for it to sit above the blunderbuss. It will be able to land on top of them, drop some bombs, and pretty much kill off an entire unit. But it could easily stay out of range of these shotguns and not be getting a focus fired out the ass. And then the only thing that would really be applying a lot of pressure would be the Death Streaker rocket launcher.
Wait, I love it. They actually added the top hatches where you've got dwarves throwing grenades out of them. I didn't realize that while looking at this until now. I think they're I don't know what the fuck they are. I think they're grenades. You can see little dwarves pop out of the top hatches and they start throwing shit. Blasting charges? Is that what they are? Blasting charges?
Kill off an entire unit. But it could easily stay out of range of these shotguns and not be getting a focus fired out the ass. And then the
I think it is blasting charges. That's kind of funny.
only thing that would really be applying a lot of pressure would be the Death Streaker rocket launcher itself. And maybe the Bale Taurus, which is out on the flank right now and basically just trying to take some fire from the cannon.
See this guy? See that little like white missile line? He's throwing something.
While the Skullcrackers move in on each flank. See one.
It is. They're like grenades or bombs or something. They're not like blasting charges. I could be wrong, but like you could see this guy right here. Watch this little dude.
Take some fire from the cannon.
There goes one of them, and you can see it land.
While the Skullcrackers move in on.
It's gonna land right here and just kind of have like a miniature. They're throwing gyro bombs.
Each flank. See one moving in on the Dwarf right flank and the left flank, moving through the Slayers and trying to dive into the cannons, which have just been absolutely brutal this game. The cannon upgrades for Malachi Makaisen really turn what's already a pretty solid unit into a fantastic one. Not even missing shots from across the map. You can see they took a chunk out of the Bale Taurus and the Sorcerer Lord atop it. Dealt a bunch of damage to the Skullcrackers on the way in, and of course,
just not a lot of them.
That
obviously.
magma cannon. But yeah, the Thunder Barge bit off way more than it could chew here. It could have done a lot more, I think, for the Dwarfs if it had just sat above its own army and not moved into range of the blunderbuss. And now it is going to get brought down 2 HP left, still managed to get 200 kills.
It didn't even
in that
break.
short
It's
push
basically
over the top of the
unbreakable.
Chaos Dwarf army. A lot of that this time was on slaves, though, not giving up so much elite infantry to it as Khorne did in the last replay. And the crew will be sent flying to the earth below. Entire blimp explodes. It's all on fire. Really cool death animation. And now the Chaos Dwarfs are kind of into the cookie jar. Their Skullcrackers and the Bale Taurus are right where they need to be. Big time Purple Sun Azirius, and doing everything they can really to shut down that can play and get in on top of Malachi Makaisen. So, in my opinion, obviously still incredibly early. I don't have any specific suggestions yet, but just general vibes and ideas on how I feel like the unit should play. In my opinion, the Thunderbird should be a powerful, even devastating unit that can lay down a crazy barrage of fire and punish you heavily if you don't play against it right, or tailor your build to countering it. I think the damage output of it right now might even be correct, although, again, kind of hard to tell this early. But I think it is lacking some of the unreliability it's supposed to have in the lore, and which is the main reason why it hasn't been adopted in a widespread manner for the Dwarfs. And one of the easier ways to replicate that unreliability would be much more impactful afterburn damage. Right now, it's not really a meaningful choice. The answer is yes. Are you being chased by something? Yes, you're going to turn it on, and no, you are not going to care about the self-damage. It's
interesting. I mean, it's fun. It's flavor. I think more so than anything, it's flavor, because the dwarves lack flavor in terms of like how they play, how they are in lore. I mean, all of the inventions are what give them kind of like that push into different, different things that don't feel like dwarves, almost. They lack a centerpiece. Well, there's your centerpiece right there. Chaos Dwarves are really just a boring faction. I mean, that's cool. It's cool, though. It is very cool. I'm still going to try them. I'm going to try everything in multiplayer if I can, obviously. But I do feel like when people find dwarves, at least for the sake of ladder play, just fun, they're just going to take shooting, right? It's like either take a shit ton of melee and wipe the whole army because there's 3,000 gold spent on a thunder barge, or take a shit ton of shooting and, you know, whatever, and just shit on the barge and then move on. Video with the new... give me a sec. All new units from all the factions. Oh. Type what the video is called. I'll look it up right now. Malachi's portrait is only a big nose and beard with glasses. It kind of looks like the, you know, like those gag things where it's like, definitely not this guy, definitely not that guy, and it's got like just, it looks goofy. Like, that's great. I mean, Malachi's kind of crazy. Thoughts and hopes for the upcoming Warhammer TV show? Make it good. I don't know, man. It's 40K. It's Henry Cavill's kind of got the reins to it, so like, he'll do it justice. He's got Amazon money. Bro's got money himself. Like, he loves the franchise and the source material. He'll make it good. I'm not really hoping for anything. I'm not the biggest 40K guy. I used to be big into 40K, but as of right now, I'm not, like, frothing at the mouth for anything on it. It will be good. Thrones of Decay, new unit stats and close-ups. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Let's go watch that. Thrones of Decay, new units, stats. Oh, it was by Zerkovich. Okay, this guy does multiplayer stuff.
Thrones of Decay.
Let's give it a whirl.
Gives us new units for the Empire, Dwarfs, and Nurgle. What are they? What do they do? Let's have a look.
Do we want to see... Do we want to see everything? You know what? I want to see the Empire. No, I do. I want to see
First
everything.
up, Elspeth von Draken, the new legendary lord for the Empire, bringing a slightly darker tone, coming with death magic. Although she's dressed like she just fell out the clown bin, but she's your usual wizard.
True.
In terms of stats. She's a bit better in the melee than most wizards, but with only 20 armor, she'll probably want to avoid it when she's on foot at least. Typical wizard weapon strength at 320, but hey, it's armor piercing. But of course, she comes with the death magic. Now, I was trying to think of a way to show you the abilities a bit better in...
Wait, so Empire in general obviously doesn't have access to death, so this is basically just like, do you want to play the Lore of Death? So you play her type of deal, and she can have like a dragon and whatnot. I assume that's it. They do? Really? Gray wizards have death? Oh,
in these videos, so I'm just going to scroll over them. Pause the video if you want to.
So there has to be something here. Heal per second. Damage per second. Okay. Bitches like Shang Tsung.
Read them properly. I'm not going to go over all of them. That one there, though, Death's Timekeeper, was pretty nice. It does damage to an enemy, but also heals her. She also has the Living Darkness ability, which gives her a physical resistance and removes the magical weapons traits of nearby enemies. So she has quite a few defensive abilities to help keep herself alive, but also a few damage ones as well. And as for mounts, she can get a steed mount, which will be her early game mount, but you will obviously want to work your way up to her unique dragon Carmine, who comes with all the dragony benefits, such as being able to fly around, more armor, more weapon strength, still armor piercing, a breath attack as well, and it's the first dragon for the Empire faction, so a pretty nice addition for them. Next, we have a new...
This is, to me, if I cared about the Empire, this would be the coolest thing. Because the Empire, although has a shit ton of like war machines, and I mean, for God's sake, they got the steam tank and whatnot, there was never engineers. They never had engineers in multiplayer or even campaign for some unknown reason. So this should be interesting. I'm assuming they're just going to function kind of like the Dwarf engineers. Accuracy, ammunition, you know, maybe range, something like that. They can have the Hawkland long rifles to kind of like snipe characters. They're going to be cheap. Like, you know.
Generic Lord choice, the Master Engineer. His combat stats are nothing to write home about, and with his wizard level weapon strength, with no armor piercing, he'll want to avoid melee most of the time when he's on foot anyway, but that's so he can make the most of his ranged attack, which is pretty short range at only 115, but it's a frickin' grenade launcher, so he can blow up the crowds very nicely with that. The Master Engineer has a lot of useful abilities though, one able to restock the ammunition.
Okay, so restock is exactly like... So the restock thing is interesting because I don't think there's anything in the Empire army that even runs out of ammo that I can think of. The only thing I've ever seen in multiplayer run out of ammo was like gyrocopters. Maybe I'm wrong with the Empire because I don't play them. Even the Sunmaker won't even run out. Like by the time the Sunmaker even like gets into contact with anything, nah. The artillery never runs out. Hellstorms, I don't think they do. Never. I don't think they ever do in multiplayer. And then again, I'm playing dwarves, so like I don't give them that much time. Steam tanks do sometimes. Okay. All right.
Ignition of nearby friendly units, the Pigeon Bomb, which is a bombardment ability, quite literally bringing pigeons with bombs.
That's fucking cool. What the fuck? A bunch of pigeons come in with bombs and drop them. The pigeon bomb. I mean, they don't suicide bomb, but that's cool.
Abilities though, one able to restock the ammunition of nearby friendly units, the Pigeon Bomb, which is a bombardment ability, quite literally bringing pigeons with bombs. You're never going to look at pigeons the same after this.
That's
cool. And overall, the Master Engineer is the kind of lord that wants to sit back with the range.
Duration, reload speed, accuracy, indefinite. Okay. Cool.
Troops and support them, buff them up whilst doing his own ranged attacks. He can get this pretty cool new mount as well.
Dude, they gave him the mechanical horse. I honestly, like, there used to be a mini of this where it looks so bizarre, but it's something you'd see in fantasy. But, I mean, that's cool.
Mechanical steed. It provides more armor, speed, and charge bonus, which is very nice. But if you like your lord mounted atop more metal, then why not pop him in a steam tank? Because that's one of his mount options as well.
Okay, there you go.
This, of course, gives him a big long-range artillery type attack and makes him a lot tougher and harder to kill. So steam tanks now a lord option for the Empire. Sigmar will be very pleased. On to the heroes, and we have a legendary hero in Theodore Bruckner. He has beefy combat stats, lots of armor on, good melee attack, melee defense, big weapon strength, although not armor piercing. So on foot, you'll probably want to have him fighting in lesser armored crowds. For his abilities, he has a mixture of debuffs to the enemies, but also buffs for
melee defense, negative 24, speed, negative 45. Okay, so it's just like, let me kill this unit. Everyone gang fuck that unit specifically.
For himself, for his weapon strength, for his defenses. He also has
armor piercing weapon damage plus 75%. I mean, yeah. Flaming attacks.
A debuff to enemy leadership when he's nearby as well.
I mean, he looks consistently
and if
strong.
he dies, he'll explode, taking a bunch of enemies with him, in theory. So he's equipped to deal with many kind of situations. He can crowd fight, he can probably take on some other lords and heroes, but he's mainly going to want to do that atop his unique Mount Reaper. This big old demigriff gives him extra armor, more speed, more damage output from the charge bonus, and most importantly, armor piercing damage. So a pretty simple hero, but strong and reliable overall, and versatile enough to play different roles pretty well. I also like that he doesn't have a helmet on foot, but he does when he's on the demigriff. A nice touch.
It's like the mini.
And then we have the Engineer Hero. Very similar to the Master Engineer Lord. Not too great in melee, but not terrible. His ranged attack is quite different though, as it is much
840 armor-piercing missile strength. Wow. 840? I mean, I don't know how much of that is armor-piercing, but like... Wow.
Much longer range and big armor-piercing damage. So a bit more of a sniper, going to be good for picking off those larger single entities. So good if you want a sniper character, or if you want the benefits of the Master Engineer, but you don't want to bring him as the Lord, you can bring the hero and still get those benefits to your ranged units. For abilities, he has Restock and Master of Ballistics, the same as the Master Engineer, but he has this magic missile, Mercurial Shot, which is pretty good on the armor piercing and explosive damage, so good for firing into strong crowds. You can also go on the Steed or Mechanical Steed mounts. Now into the units, first of all...
I can imagine, like, I don't even know, to be fair, I don't know anything about the Empire in terms of matchups, but like, Firewall moving, Mechanical Steed, maybe relevant, maybe. Very unlikely 6 times per shot. Very likely shoots 6 times per shot. I don't know. I mean, I would love to see gameplay of it, but...
Grundel's Defenders. These are spearmen with shields, a Regiment of Renown version. Overall, pretty much the same unit, slightly boosted stats, except they have one special ability, Rear Guardian. You know how the Guardian trait works with Lords and Heroes, where it gives them a 15% physical resistance? Well, they do that, but for war machines and artillery. So they can help keep those units alive, perhaps staying back, protecting things like cannons and Hellstorm rocket batteries that can't really defend themselves, or they could travel around with more mobile artillery like steam tanks. So pretty unique in its usage, but also very handy in the right situation. And then we have Nuln Ironsides. Now these are basically the same as Empire handgunners, except you can think of them as more highly trained. They're not terrible in melee, but not fantastic either. They have the same range as handgunners, but twice the missile strength. And they have an ability called Black Powder Discipline, which will increase their accuracy and reload skill, but only after they've been stood still for 10 seconds. So if you can keep these boys protected and stood still, they will do an absolute ton of damage very quickly, and that's great for many purposes, blasting infantry, blasting cavalry, monsters, large lords and heroes, whatever. So while similar in purpose to the handgunners, they're just going to do that job way better. And then we have another new ranged unit, the Hochland Long Rifle.
Hochland Long Rifle infantry units. That's cool. That's cool, though. Like, I figured this would be on a fucking, like, the engineer, like the Master Engineer guy and whatnot, but, like, 260 range, armor piercing, like a sniper unit. That's cool. I don't think this really exists anywhere right now. This is probably the first real, like, I don't know, sniper rifle. Right?
You know how Skaven Jezzails or Cathay Crane Gunners work? Well, these are basically the Empire's version of those. Very long range at 260, armor-piercing missile, very strong. They do have snipe as well, which means they can fire and they won't be discovered. However, they don't have stalk, which means they won't be hidden, just stood out in the open field. They actually have to hide somewhere. So plonk them in the trees and they'll be able to snipe from there without revealing their position, although, you know, you can see where the projectile comes from, but whatever, it'll potentially help them stay alive a little bit better. A very nice addition for the Empire, although do look after them because they are going to be terrible in melee. And then there's the Regiment of Renown version of those, the Herrig.
Has one looks very similar, but hey, the shields, these guys don't. Well, I mean, it is cool. I mean, it just adds more dynamic to the Empire. It gives you a bit more range and, like, versatility in shooting. Because realistically, I mean, I'm pretty sure the Empire doesn't necessarily beat you in melee.
Jaeger Corps. So pretty much the same unit, just with some stat boost, a little more damage. They can reduce missile block chance as well on their missile strength. They have snipe as well, and the Black Powder Discipline trait as seen on the other unit, which gives them more accuracy and reload time when they've been stood still for 10 seconds. So these two units going to be great for picking off stronger enemy units. This one is going to be especially good for taking out anything with a big shield, a silver shield. Obviously, you can take down large really well with these. Artillery usually goes down pretty quick to these kind of units as well. So these two units really round out the Empire's ranged game very well. And then we have a new cavalry, the Knights of...
Give me 1 sec. 1 sec. Yeah, listen. Don't talk about... Just let the people talk on Twitter. Let them do their thing. Who cares? Huh? No, there's a piece of poo stuck in his hair. Can you grab thing? Look. Go, Mochito, you're free. Sorry, my dog took a poo, and he had like a dingleberry in his hair. Yeah, these are really cool.
the Black Rose, bringing a proper melee cavalry to the Empire. So most of the Empire's cavalry is shock cavalry, those that are designed for charging. They've got big charge bonuses, but they have low melee defense, so they're not good at staying in prolonged combat. Well, that's what these boys are for. They have really good melee defense, not as big of a charge bonus, lots of armor, shield. So this is a cavalry you can kind of use as a front line if you want to, charging into the preferably lightly armored enemy front line and just leaving them there and letting them go to town. Although you will benefit from cycle charging them every now and again, but you don't need to as much as you do with, say, Empire Knights or Reichsguard. They're also immune to psychology, although I'm kind of surprised they don't cause fear actually, given their spooky appearance, but a decent complement to the already strong Empire Cav lineup. And then we have the Steam Tank Volley Gun. This is
another Steam Tank variant, and it's got the volley gun instead of the cannon. That's cool. Okay, that's cool.
Basically a steam tank, as you know and love, but with much greater damage output, albeit with considerably shorter range. So these can be great used as artillery pieces, first of all doing damage before the enemy arrives, but when they do, you can continue staying out the way and doing damage, or you can charge in and run over people, because, you know, you're right. A tank. But overall, it should be more damage output in a shorter space of time, just a shorter range artillery. And then we have the big old land ship.
Okay, the Marienburg land ship. I mean, when this was shown, like, I was thinking, how is this thing relevant? And when I was looking at the Thunder Barge, I'm like, how is this thing relevant? This is probably going to play just like the Thunder Barge, and it's just going to shit on everything that's around it. So, like, I wouldn't be surprised if this thing was actually good.
Bringing naval combat to Warhammer 3 finally. The Vampire Coast are going to be furious they didn't think of this first. This thing basically is a big damage-dealing chariot. It's got guns all over it, they're going to be firing at all times, it does armor-piercing melee damage, a big charge bonus of 80, and the biggest giveaway that it's supposed to be a chariot and keep moving at all times is its pathetic 18 melee defense. So yeah, charge this thing around all over the place. It causes fear as well, which is going to be helpful. The Empire don't have a lot of that. It's not terribly quick, but it does have an ability that can seriously speed it up at the expense of its turning speed. So as long as you only travel in straight lines, you'll be absolutely fine. It also blows up and does damage if it dies, so just a big damage-dealing powerhouse of a chariot, basically. And then there's the Regiment of Renown version, the Wonder of the Age. Pretty much the same deal, except it has a mortar on it, so it'll be able to do a bit of mortar fire as it goes. And
okay, so the previous one was a bunch of repeater handguns, and it had a cannon. This has a mortar and grenade launchers. I mean, this thing, like, you talk about clearing chaff, clearing, like, anything. It just kind of floats around and, like, insta-kills everything that's around it.
Men in it have grenade launchers rather than repeater rifles, so a lot more damage output coming from this thing. Still got a cannon on the front of it as well. So again, absolute damage powerhouse chariot. If you charge it through the enemy army, it's just going to do a ton of work. Although, as I say, don't leave these in prolonged combat, don't leave them still. They will get beaten up very quick with their low melee defense. They're also a big target for missiles as well, of course, so do be a bit careful if you do want to keep them alive, or if you want to sacrifice them at the end and let them blow up and kill stuff. That's a good option too, albeit an expensive one. But overall, some very, very nice additions for the Empire roster, I think. Into the Nurgle boys, starting with Tamakan, the Maggot Lord. This big boy has a lot of weapon strength, armor piercing, and anti-large as well. So just a big melee powerhouse that wants to hunt down the large enemies. He has a mix of offensive and defensive abilities, but his most notable is Feast of the Maggot Lord, which, when he hits 0 health and basically dies, he actually won't die and won't be able to die for the next 28 seconds, instead doing direct damage to a nearby lord or hero and stealing their health and basically healing himself, so potentially saving him from dying. But it'll only activate if there's a lord or hero nearby when he hits that 0 HP. So a very cool ability that can make him difficult to kill off, especially if you plonk him on Bubolus, his toad dragon mount. Obviously, a big massive single entity beast to charge around, although do note that this changes him
He's eating his own boogers. I used to do that as a kid. Bro has a tongue the size of a goddamn fucking, like, Twizzler, and he's, like, sifting in his nostrils for his boogers. That's what I used to do, bro. That's what all kids used to do. That's a very Nurgle animation. If you're not eating your own boogers, I don't know what you're doing.
To kill off, especially if you plonk him on Bubolus, his toad dragon mount. Obviously, a big massive single entity beast to charge around, although do note that this changes him from anti-large over to anti-infantry, so if you want Tamakan to be anti-large, you will have to keep him on foot. Otherwise, you can destroy all the infantry when he's on his mount, and he also gets a magic missile breath attack as well. So a very tough and quite versatile lord.
It's a big booger.
And then we have Epidemius, who is not technically part of the DLC. He's actually free LC, but we'll put him in here anyway. Now, Epidemius is actually more of a support lord. Although his stats aren't too bad at all, he can go into melee and do some good work, but he's not going to shine there. He does have some nice armor-piercing weapon strength, though, so he can take on some tougher targets. And do note the unit card I'm showing you here with 28 speed is his on-foot speed. He's obviously on his mount here, which does make him a little bit faster. Overall, he's the kind of support lord that wants to be in there alongside the boys fighting. His boys mainly being plague bearers, and he can actually summon a unit of exalted plague bearers.
One unit of exalted plague bearers. Okay.
His other abilities will buff up his troops, making them tougher, harder to kill, maybe increase their damage, or debuff the enemy. So overall, just a very nice frontline lord who wants to work...
Did he just have a reflex damage?
...debuff the enemy. So overall, just a very nice frontline lord who wants to work together with his army rather than being a more solo lord that'll just run off whenever when needed. And then we've got the Chaos Lord of Nurgle, another new generic lord. This one being very tanky. He's got a ton of armor, ton of melee defense, a big silver shield, weapon strength, not armor piercing though, which is always a bit of a letdown. Should be great though for taking on more lightly armored crowds or lightly armored lords and heroes. For his abilities, he has a lot of defensive stuff, a lot of melee damage reflection, so further playing into that tank role. If you want a reliable lord that won't easily die on you, this might be your guy. He can also go on a steed, chariot, or rot beast mount. What's a rot beast, I hear you cry? Well, it's actually one of these that Kazakh the Befouled is on. This handsome chap is a new legendary hero for Nurgle. Pretty decent stats, although not the biggest weapon strength in the land. It is armor piercing and anti-infantry though, and he does have a pretty chunky charge bonus to beef his damage up with as well. And he's not going to be the easiest to kill because he does have regeneration too. He's got some nice abilities with Sword of Filth. This reduces melee defense and armor of all nearby enemies, or up to 5 nearby enemies. And his Befouled charge ability is very nice. This will remove the charge defense of enemy units, so you can now just absolutely run through spearmen without them ruining your charge bonus. And with that in mind, I think he's the kind of hero that wants to go around with cavalry, making the most of that ability, taking out those anti-large units. And then we have a generic hero, the Chaos Sorcerer of Nurgle, with the Death or Nurgle magic. Pretty much your standard Chaos Wizard who's pretty tough in the melee, can survive pretty well, but isn't going to do a ton of damage. Obviously there to bring the magic spells along, and while he doesn't have a ton in the way of abilities, he can have a steed, rot beast, or Chaos War Shrine.
I mean, like, in generic ladder, I'm pretty sure you see a couple of them. Yeah, Mochi's going crazy right now because Ivana's leaving, and he senses that she's leaving, and so he's just gonna be annoying as hell. Mochi! Do stop! People play everything in multiplayer. You know, some more often than not, but, like, I've seen a few Nurgle.
Mount.
With the DLC, you're gonna get more Nurgle. With the DLC, you're gonna get more Dwarves, you're gonna get more Empire.
So basically a hero version of the Chaos Sorcerer Lord that Nurgle already has. Potentially a solid choice if you have a melee lord like
I have
Tamakan and
nothing
you
to
want
say
to bring
about
the magic
Nurgle.
and maybe the support of one of those Chaos War Shrines. Now on to the infantry, first up with the Pestigors.
Pestigors.
These
That's
nasty ass goats don't look like the toughest in the world with only 25 armor and 20 melee defense, but they have a lot of HP, so they're going to be tougher than they look. And they also have pretty good leadership for a cheaper unit, and armor piercing, which is also nice on a cheaper unit. And although Nurgle already has cheap armor piercing in Marauder Great Weapons, these offer you a little bit extra foot speed and Vanguard deployment, so they can be a little bit more on the sneaky side. They also have an ability that will slow
12,000
the
HP
enemy
is
by
kind of a lot.
75% speed
Bro
if
thinks
they
they're the
rout
Thunder
them,
Barge.
and nearby enemies as well, so they'll be able to chase down enemies that they rout and then just absolutely kill them off. And not forgetting as well that they have poison like all Nurgle units, which is again going to slow the enemy by another 15%, so yeah, pretty nasty. Then we have the Plague Ogres, bringing some bigger boys to the Nurgle roster. These are pretty much man-eater ogres from the Ogre Kingdoms, just with the Nurgly twists of having a little extra HP and poison, but overall they're just bringing that heavy mass and anti-infantry killing power. And then there's the Plague Ogres with great weapons. Pretty much the same idea as everything I just said. These are basically man-eaters, and with great weapons they are anti-large, and that actually is pretty huge for Nurgle, because one of the big weaknesses of Nurgle's roster all this time is that they haven't really had any
I've got nothing to say about Nurgle. I don't like Nurgle in any capacity. I mean, if the people play Nurgle, let them play Nurgle. Which Chaos faction would you choose if you absolutely had to? Khorne. Easily Khorne.
great or reliable anti-large
about
units,
demons?
and with no missile units, it's very difficult for Nurgle to deal with large stuff sometimes. So yeah, this is a pretty huge addition for Nurgle to finally have a reliable anti-large unit, albeit a bit of an expensive one. I expect to see these in every Nurgle army though. And then we've got some more head bonking
Plague
power with the
Bile
Bile
Trolls.
Trolls.
Yeah, those
Big
are good.
armor piercing damage, pretty much your normal troll to be honest, just with those Nurgly twists, got the regeneration. They do have an ability that reduces nearby enemy melee defense by 6. These pretty much offer you the same thing that the Plague Ogres do, just for a little bit cheaper and not quite as good. The usual troll experience, really. And then we have the Rot Knights, another huge addition for the Nurgle roster, for the reasons I said just now, because these are an anti-large cavalry. So again, filling that hole in Nurgle's roster very well. They're armor piercing as well. Stats overall very nice. They're very tough. They'll have more HP. They got a lot of armor. They got more melee defense than melee attack, and they have regeneration. So they're going to be pretty hard to kill and still able to put out that damage. They could be one of the new top tier anti-large cavalries. And then there's the Regiment of Renown version, the Rotting Riders, who might look very similar, but they do actually have more kind of green mankiness on their armor than the normal version. But these are pretty much...
Give me 1 sec. The dwarves should be coming up very... Oh, here we go. The dwarves are coming up soon. Give me like 2 seconds. I have to go talk to Ivana. 1 sec. How does this dog know? How does he know? Regen cavalry is insane. It's pretty annoying, yeah, to think about. Okay. How does this dog know? Mochi, how do you know?
the same deal. They now have magical attacks and they have an ability giving them a 15% damage resistance while their leadership is basically just not broken. So they're going to be even harder to kill, but otherwise the same as the normal version. A little bit more specific in their targeting, perhaps with that magical damage. They can go after things with physical resistances. But yeah, these Rot Beast units, very big for the Nurgle roster. And lastly, to the biggest boy, the Toad Dragon. He's not quite as big as the Dreadsaurian, but he's not far off. This thing, a big anti-infantry killer, huge weapon strength, anti-infantry bonus, lots of health, poison, all the good stuff. Does have the magic missile breath attack as well. So overall, just a big problem for the enemy to deal with. A big damage soak that can absorb a lot of punishment, draw a lot of fire, which will help protect other units. So overall, just your big problematic damage dealer type single entity that can just walk all over the enemy army wherever it wants, whenever it wants, however it wants. And with that, we conclude the Nurgle units, bringing us to finally...
Yes! What I've waited
on to the Dawi then, with new legendary lord Malachi Makaisen. Now, despite being a slayer, he's actually a missile specialist, and while his stats look okay for melee, he generally doesn't do great there with the lack of armor, so he's a lord that wants to stay out the way using his ranged attack. It's very strong, it's got good range, great for sniping down those larger foes. He doesn't have any mount options, so you will have to be a bit careful with him on foot. Overall, he's more of a support lord with his abilities. He's got some big...
He doesn't have mount options, so you can't just give him the Spirit of Grungni in multiplayer? Wouldn't that be cool if you could? And it just, like, buffed it up even more, even though that'd be so brain dead, right? Deranged munitions. Armor-piercing missile damage plus 50%, base missile damage plus 50%, 30-second duration, 90% or 90-second cooldown. One unit. One unit gains this? I mean... Okay. And it gives you magical attacks, to be fair. Malachi on Spirit of Grungni, 6k gold. I mean... give it to the... yeah, there you go.
Big damage boosts for missile units. He's also got...
Cinderblast, Cluster Bomb. Armor-piercing, Flaming... Okay, cool.
A magic missile for himself. He can also heal.
Malachi's Persuader. Wait, this gives regeneration and replenishes ammo. So he just repairs the machines. Why can't generic engineers do that? Isn't that crazy? You know, you'd figure engineers could kind of just, like, repair the things they make because they made them. Weird that, like, only Malachi gets it, but... Okay.
Heal artillery and war machines, which is pretty nice. So the kind of lord that wants to sit in the backline with other missiles.
This is a passive. Artillery Master, 30 accuracy, 10% reload passive.
Artillery, buffing them up, helping them do tons.
And then the Eyes of Grungni, which was the range increase, also a passive. So essentially what you do is you sit them back with artillery. They're completely, passively buffed to shit. And then you can maybe throw that ability on one of them to make them even more buffed. Something like that.
Of damage while sniping away himself. So it brings something different to the Dawi table in terms of lords with a ranged lord, but he's very powerful when teamed up with the right missiles and artillery. If you were hoping for a melee...
Demon Slayer. 500 weapon strength, melee magical attacks. Surviving this long against such a terrible odd is either due to lack of martial skill, or luck or martial skill. Honed to a razor's edge, probably both. Yeah, it looks
Slayer
cool.
Lord, well, you've got the Demon Slayer for that. He's exactly what you'd expect, a full-on melee lord, big melee attack, big weapon strength, anti-large, so he's going to want to hunt down the big boys. Obviously, armor is non-existent, so toughness is a bit of an issue, but...
So let me say this, why would you ever take this guy over Ungrim?
He does have a bronze shield, so he can block some missiles, and by bronze shield, I obviously mean his beard. For his abilities, he has a debuff, he has some buffs.
He gets the Hammer of Karag-Draz. Okay, the dwarves are getting a slight rework. This is a runesmith ability. Okay, so you say, why would you ever take him over Ungrim? There you go. You get a Hammer of Karag-Draz, which is so good.
You must have more.
So good.
Why do dwarves still fight in melee? We know they have nuclear capabilities.
Well, because they have to show everyone why they're the best race. That's why.
of various kinds
cheaper,
for
yeah.
himself and for others, but most notably he has the Glorious Death ability.
Glorious Death. Oh my god, they've got Trinomir ults. Okay, well, you wonder why? 50-second duration? Yeah, it's insane. It's super good. That's pretty sure what it is right now in the game. 40-second Trinomir ult. Affects all allies in range. Target unit is a Slayer. Okay, well, why would you take Ungrim over this guy? Well, probably never. It's a 40-second Trinomir ult. That's an AoE on all Slayers. What the fuck? I mean, if you took this initially, well, it says you cannot die, but you can take damage. Right? So maybe just use it initially. This guy's, yeah, I was going to say, this is like Ungrim. Ungrim should have these abilities. Why do we get a Demon Slayer, some, like, not necessarily a nobody, but the Slayer King getting cucked by a Demon Slayer? Ungrim should get stuff, and they should also sift around a few different abilities. Like, the Hammer of Karagdraz, again, was from the Runesmith. So now that it's on a melee lord,
which will prevent him and other Slayers around him from dying for 4.
The Rune of Thugni, Imbuement, Sundered Armor, base weapon damage 25, base armor piercing, or armor piercing weapon damage 25%. Okay, one person.
50 seconds, so that's very nice if used at the right moment, like going after a big strong enemy with a group of Slayers.
Wards of Grimnir. Augment. Damage resistance up to 20%. It'll increase with each kill made by the unit. Dude, they gave these so much more flavor than Ungrim. Ungrim's walking around like a goddamn knockoff, like, Demon Slayer. Basically a knockoff character. Like, seeing this just gives me hope that they make Ungrim more of a lord, more of commanding abilities, you know. Like, what? You're going? Okay. I have to.
You can all take him down.
Give me like 2 minutes. I have to take Mochi on the balcony just so Ivana can leave. 1 sec. Holy shit, I think we pulled it off. I think Ivana was able to leave, and Mochi isn't going insane because he didn't see her go. Oh my god, I think we did it. I think we outsmarted the 7-month-old Pomeranian. I think we did it. Okay.
Down without taking any deaths at all. And it also works well with this ability, which gives him a big damage boost if...
Wait, what?
Damage boost...
Wait, what? Base weapon damage 20%, armor piercing weapon damage 20%, melee attack 12, causing terror. Oh, it's if terror causing units in range. Okay, cool.
Damage boost if he fights a unit that has terror. Very nice. And for a new legendary hero, we've got...
Look how ugly Garagrim is. Oh my god, it's perfect. He's so fucking ugly. I mean, it couldn't be any better. Look at his nose. Ugh, Ungrim's son, my poor son. There's a lot of things to mourn in war. Your death won't be one of them. He is beautiful. Look at this fucking disgusting... Like, that's the biggest nose I've ever seen on a dwarf. Good
God.
Garagrim
Iron Fist. More a slayer of human-sized things than big things, as he doesn't have anti-large, but he does have anti-infantry.
Okay, so basically Garagrim is going to be like the grinder unit hero. You throw him in with a bunch of Doom Seekers, which I'm assuming are coming up next. And now you have like blasting charges, except melee, essentially, with the Doom Seekers and whatnot, where, you know, they just get in there and they grind shit up like it's nothing.
He's got magical attacks, so your usual kind of damage-dealing slayer. Just remember to throw him into the crowds of infantry rather than after the monsters or cavalry, especially as he has this ability, Hurricane of
Death. Wait, cannot move. Damage per second, 80. Armor piercing magical. Duration 6 seconds, radius 5 meters. Can use if not on or below a platform. Huge stationary area of effect, strong versus multiple units, good against armor. Okay. Cool.
Death, a small vortex, so that's absolutely going to destroy a crowd. Good against armor as well. And then
Axes of Kadrin. I mean, these are bonus versus infantry. Okay, yeah, there you go. Big grinder unit. Throw him into melee, he just fucking goes crazy. Cool. I like it, honestly.
Just mostly has a whole bunch of damage boosts to boost himself up and maybe some friendlies. So if you need to kill enemy infantry, Garagrim is your guy. Just be careful if any large...
Slayer of Legend. Okay, it goes up to 20% damage. Armor piercing weapon damage up to 20%. Melee up to 10. Effects with... Okay. Same thing as before, but like... Well, I mean, with Wards of Grimnir and Slayer of Legend, I mean, these people are all just like turbo stat checking. It's like the more they kill, the more they gain. Okay, cool.
Stuff comes after him, he'll still do okay there, but it's not really his forte, right? But it is the Dragon Slayer's forte, as he is your generic...
Yeah, the Dragon Slayer looks cooler than the fucking Demon Slayer, in my opinion. This shit looks cool.
Hero choice. He's anti-large, armor piercing, so if you want to take down the big boys and Gotrek isn't around, then this boy is your man dude guy, bro. He's very similar to Garagrim in his abilities, in that he's got a lot of damage boosts for beefing himself up, so he's basically the anti-large version of Garagrim, just not quite as strong overall. So great for hunting down enemy lords and heroes, single entities, any of the stronger large, probably his preferred target. Now onto some infantry, first up with the
Doom Seekers. Magical melee attacks, armor piercing, anti-infantry. They look great. These look so cool. What the fuck?
Doom Seekers. Stats-wise, they're like any other Slayer who have good melee attack, decent melee defense, but no armor, so they do have to be a bit careful around missiles, but these are your anti-infantry Slayers, the infantry killers, as opposed to other Slayers, the normal Slayers and the Giant Slayers, basically, that are anti-large. So these are anti-infantry, they've got armor piercing, so they can go after all manner of targets, they've got magical damage as well, so good against the demons and undead and such. And these boys are pretty much the toughest of the tough for the Dawi, as there is only 32 of them in the unit, but they have...
That's a lord. Is it a lord or a hero? The Dragon Slayer, I think, is a hero. The Demon Slayer is a lord. Garagrim's a hero. 9,000 HP for 32 models.
As much health as a full 80 unit of Slayers, so they're all sturdy boys. They also have the Whirlwind Vortex ability, like Garagrim does, and also the Ward that gives them a 20% physical resistance, increasing with the more stuff they kill. And if all that wasn't enough, they also have Vanguard deployment as well, so they can negate the power of some enemy missiles. Nice. And then we have the Regiment of Renown version of those.
Hold up, we cooking?
the Brotherhood of Grimnir. These are literally the same as the normal Doomseekers. The only difference seems to be that they have a slightly better Vortex attack, which just cools down a bit quicker so they can do it more often, but other than that, they are literally the same, just with some slightly better stat boost in melee attack and melee defense. So yeah, honestly, they're very nearly just the normal Doomseekers. And then we have Slayer Pirates.
Pirate
Yarr.
Slayers.
These are Slayers with a ranged attack, which is very nice.
The range attack, 44 missile damage. Armor piercing, ammunition 6. Okay, so they really don't have that much shooting, obviously, as they shouldn't. I mean, they're little flintlocks. 6 rounds of ammo. Okay, that's fine.
Armor piercing, only short range though, as it's just a little pistol. They're actually not so good in melee as other Slayers, and because they only have a little bit of ammunition, use all that up first before you put them in melee, otherwise you're going to waste that ammo if they die, and you know, with 0 armor, they will die. They can fire whilst moving though as well, which is always handy to have. So a nice option to bring some ranged power to a Slayer army, good for using up that strong missile ammo, and then getting them into maybe some lesser enemies, some chaffy stuff that they could quite easily beat up. And then we have the raw version, Long Drong Slayer.
You do get Long Drongs. No shit, it would be an ROR. That's cool. So the named guy, who, like, the named pirate dude in lore was Long Drong, and he had his whole little war band of, like, pirate slayers. Pretty sure in the end times they all died in Sartosa. But, like, I'm glad they did this, because you don't have pirate slayers unless you have Long Drongs, right? That's cool.
Yeah, pirates. These, once again, are basically the same thing, just with some improved stats, and they have an ability called Dwarf Rum, which will reduce nearby enemy melee attack by 10, which is quite significant. So once you've used up their ammo, charge them in, have them work with other units that can benefit from that minus 10 melee attack of nearby enemies, and they could provide some good support for other units. Otherwise, again, just nice range damage dealing. If range damage dealing is really what you want to do though, then the new Thunderers with Grudge Rakers are going to be the choice, because they're basically shotgunners, so short range but very powerful missiles, armor piercing, something perhaps akin to Chaos Dwarf blunderbusses, so going to be a very powerful protector of your army. If single entities come charging in, you can keep these more towards the back so they're out the way, and if the strong single entities come charging into your army's formation, you will absolutely lay them out with these boys. And of course, just being ranged, they can do pretty much everything. They can kill lords, heroes, infantry, cavalry, flying units, monsters, whatever. Very powerful, very dangerous. And like most dwarf ranged units, they can survive in melee okay, but they ultimately kind of suck at it. But then there's a regiment of renowned version of them as well,
the Grim Delvers.
Grim Delvers. These are actually not as good in the range department. They still have the short range, but less missile strength, but still very strong, just not as strong as the normal version, which might seem weird, right? But they're better in melee. They have Frenzy, which will help them do more damage. They also have Vanguard deployment and Stalk, so they're a bit more of a self-sufficient, sneaky unit. Could work well mixed in with the main bulk of your army as a nasty surprise, or they could go off somewhere sneaky with some Bugman's Rangers and be a little flanking party. So still a very dangerous close quarters unit, but just a little more sneaky. And then we have a new artillery piece of sort.
The Goblin Hewer has 0 armor for some reason. 3,000 missile strength. What? 3,000 missile strength? Is that a bug? Why does it have 3,000 missile strength? Okay. I think it's a bug. 2 ammo. Wait, you're right. It has 2 ammo and 3,000 missile strength. So what the fuck is this even used for?
The Goblin Hewer. Now this thing is a little weird. It's kind of an artillery, but also quickly just becomes a Slayer unit. You see, it does a hell of a lot of damage, 3k missile damage, that's huge, but as you can see, it only has 2 ammo. So it's over pretty quick with the ranged attack, and then it just becomes a normal Slayer unit. But with that ranged attack being so strong, it's great for taking down large enemies, especially if you can get the Lord or a strong hero with this. It's going to be worth that money and worth that ammo, because it will absolutely violate them. So a fun little quote-unquote artillery...
I was going to say, for 3,000 missile strength with 2 ammunition, this thing probably insta-kills, or comes close to, like, ripping through. Like, you think the Thunder Barge does damage? If this thing finds any specific, like, elites or single entities, and it can shoot it and not miss, you're probably just dead. You're very dead.
artillery piece to use, it's just over very quick. But if you can save it
I
just
hope
for
it's
that right
accurate.
moment when the big enemy lord comes marching over, you can just absolutely ruin his life. Although you could team this up with Malachi and use his ammo replenishment ability, and then hey, there's another 3k damage to use. Tasty. And then last but not least, it's the showstopper, the Thunder Barge, the big old airship for the dwarfs. This thing is permanently flying like the Cathay balloons, has a lot of armor but only 10 melee defense, so you gotta try and keep the melee enemies off of it, the flying ones obviously, but it has a lot of missile strength and it just constantly fires missiles all the time. Its cannons go off, it drops bombs, it just basically does all its damage by itself. You just fly it over where you need it to kill stuff, and it'll do the work for you. It's pretty nice. It is pretty slow at only 30 speed, but it does have an ability that can speed it up drastically, although it does do direct damage to the Thunder Barge itself, so you do have to be careful with it. It also has a magic
I like the
missile ability,
animations.
which is basically a massive spear, which is anti-large, so good for sniping down those large enemies. And yeah, as I say, just fly it over the enemies and it will just absolutely go to town on them. A very nice damage-dealing war machine, although it might need some protection from melee enemies if things like dragons or manticores or even harpies come over and start going on it. It's going to take damage pretty quick. So a very fun addition for the dwarves. And there we go. There's the units in the Thrones of
Okay,
Decay.
so he didn't include the ROR unit, which I think might just be a campaign exclusive. Maybe. Like, you can't take the Spirit of Grungni in multiplayer, which is fine. Honestly, I'm liking what I'm seeing, and if there is anything to take away from this with the Dwarven units, it's that Ungrim will be reworked, and the Runesmith will be reworked, because they're kind of, like, with overlapping abilities. So I'm hoping Ungrim in multiplayer becomes relevant, because the character's trash. Like, these guys have so many better abilities. For God's sake, they have, like, one of the best ones. The Hammer of Karak Draz is kind of nutty. It just makes a character completely useless, or a unit completely useless. And the duration is so long. And I think it's on the Demon Slayer.
Shield, I
if I'm
obviously
not
mean his beard,
mistaken.
will prevent him and
Yeah,
other
the Demon Slayer gets the Hammer of Karak Draz. Well, I was saying Runesmiths. The Runesmiths are going to be kind of reworked a bit. 32 model Slayer unit is insanely good. Yeah, and they're anti-infantry. Right? It's just more flavor. That's what the dwarves needed, right? This whole DLC is flavor. It gives so many different things, like the Goblin Hewer, the Thunder Barge. It gives you shotguns. It gives you more, like, generic-y characters, things like that. Cool abilities, right? There's a new video about the Dwarf campaign rework, so some lords 100% get some new stuff. That's cool. I'd love to see it in multiplayer. I really would, because that's, again... My thing is multiplayer. I'm not, like, the greatest player, but I prefer that over campaign. Campaign's a bit too kind of figure out the formula and go from there. Hi, Moshi. Moshi. Are you okay, baby Moshi? Are you okay? One range. So the Thunder Barge, from the gameplay I've seen, it does kind of float around and kill things, but, like, I don't think it's going to be sniping you from, like, across the map, even though it has cannons. I'm sure there's a video that must go over the dwarf changes to current dwarf units. Right now, no. I don't think so right now. I'd love to see it. I don't believe so. You should do a multiplayer campaign versus others to try and catch 8 peaks first. Really? You got, like, the Skaven. You got Skarsnik, and you have Belagar. Slayer Lords and Runesmith heroes? Oh, yeah, for sure, easily. I mean, turbo stat buffing, like, Slayers, that's a good time. That's a very, very good time. I mean, for right now, I don't think I would be playing... Like, so here's the thing. This DLC comes out on the 30th. I will be playing... Or rather, I will play the DLC... But at that same time, I'm going to be busy, and I will also have access to my hobby desk. Like, I can actually do Warhammer again. It's been kind of a few months, if not years in the making, being consistently there. We're going to be there for, like, 2 weeks, off and on Warhammer streams, compared to what we get now, which is, like, every day. And then in about June, July, we should be consistently on this second channel every day, along with the main channel. And I'm kind of down to do whatever, but again, I'm more inclined to play actual tabletop, like go do the hobbying instead of, Total War multiplayer, stuff like that. But we'll see. Simultaneous turns certainly helps. Yeah, I mean, multiplayer campaign, yeah, that'd be cool. It'd be fun. Why wouldn't I? Yeah, I am. Campaign multiplayer is just so slow. And you also have to bank on everyone's connections being good to you because it's like peer-to-peer, right? So if people are connecting from like Uganda, good luck, you know? Everyone has to load in everything. Everyone has to take their turns, so on and so forth, right? It'd be fun, though. They didn't tell us how the Spirit of Grungni works yet. Even in... I think there are people covering multiplayer, though, no? Like, I even had looked on Twitch for 2 seconds, and I saw a few people do, like, campaign overviews, because they're all partners of CA and whatnot, which is cool. If I was a partner of CA, I would fucking play Dwarf all the time. I haven't had food yet, no. It's either that or just playing the campaign on the hardest difficulty. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, again, I'm going to load up Total War and play like 2 multiplayer games, and then I'll be swapping accounts. April 30th, 14 days away. Hi, Mochi. She's not here right now, but you don't speak English, so it's okay. You don't understand. But you're very nice. Thank you, Mochi. Thank you, baby Mochi. Thank you. Mochi is so kind. You're such a kind little Mochi. All right, let's do maybe like 2 to 3 multiplayer games, and then we'll swap over. It's cool to see the units, though. Yeah. I don't think I'm really like... Well, I mean, the only thing I'd be missing is maybe Bugman. But Joseph Bugman is more than likely going to be free LC, right? They've had Bugman's Rangers forever. I mean, for God's sake, what about Longdrong? You have Longdrong's Pirate Slayers. What about making him? You know what I think would have been cool? Is if... Okay, hear me out. What if Bugman's Rangers also included Bugman, and they were an ROR, and they costed a bit more gold, but they did more, and then Longdrong's Pirate Slayers included him and the unit, but they did more, right? Because, like, you're missing characters that are kind of tied to these units that should be there, because why the fuck would Bugman's Rangers be around if he wasn't? Or, like, Longdrong's Pirate Slayers if he wasn't? Who knows? Who knows? Okay, there we go. Mochi, we're gonna do, like, 2 games. 2 games. You crazy. One of the campaign abilities is to summon dwarf miners. They did have something like that in tabletop. Maybe not like they just die, but they could kind of deep strike, right? They have Vanguard deploy. That's cool. I wonder what the animation looks like. It's probably the same thing as the Skaven. A hole just opens up in the ground, they come pouring out. Okay. Let us see. Let us see. I feel like Negation is just way better than Oath and Steel. I think we're good. Sure. What are you doing? You okay? If Mochi had seen Ivana leave, I would never hear the end of it. This dog would be crying for 3 hours straight. Because he has separation anxiety. Why do you have separation anxiety, Mochi? Is it because you just love us? Is it okay? Because he thinks she's in the other room. Every time, like, when... he kind of gets the vibe that we're leaving, but when we leave, he comes with us, usually. When she leaves, obviously, he wouldn't go if I'm here, but he does get a bit crazy. You get a bit crazy, baby mooch. You get a little crazy. I love you, little buddy. Give him some dog nip. It frequently is. Few units have enough base weapon strength to get through most simple dwarf armor. Yeah, I mean, typically, I feel like any sort of low-tier infantry is just pointless. Just take, like, mid to high against dwarves and you'll, like, grind everything up. Okay. He thinks she can protect him from you. He's very calm right now, thank God. Okay, let's roll. Latouche roll.
Longbeards! For the ancestors! Thoric Ironbrow! Vengeance! Thoric Ironbrow! Longbeards! Thoric Ironbrow!
Okay, this is just a Giga Chad battle. It's just chosen marauders with great weapons, exalted heroes on chariots. Is that Archaon on a horse? Okay, it's just a Giga Chad battle.
Age, wealth, and skill!
This is not the new update, no. I wish it was. Mochi's, I think, like 6 pounds or something? I don't know. Where are the Chosen? Oh. The Chosen are running it down mid. Perfect. All 3 of my hammer units are here. I have too many Slayers. The Slayers are just gonna get eaten up, but, like, they'll do damage. Whatever, man.
Casting the rune.
Shh. It's okay.
For the Eye King! Killers! Castle! Runriki!
It's a little bit laggy.
Aye! Yes! Move to attack! Move to attack! Vengeance! Charge! Range far! Range fast! Go!
I don't care about Archaon. Go away. But why is this guy not moving?
Master of runecraft!
Wait, why are we just not moving?
Strike the runes! The runes glow.
Like, is the AI just dead?
Yes! Wrath and ruin! Move! Move!
I think the AI's a bit brain dead, unfortunately.
The runes are cast! Now! Vengeance! Come! Make way! Obey me!
What the fuck was that?
Kill Urks! No! No! Strago! Thoric Ironbrow! Plow through! Scoff! Kazoo! Kazoo! Dom Brom! Fight! Down! Nothing can stop us! Withdraw! Withdraw! Withdraw!
What's with that lag, though? Why did my units not even go in? My hammers are losing. I mean, they're Chosen, to be fair. This is looking a bit rough.
Vengeance! Slayers! Hearth and home! The clans unite! Axis out! Off we go! Drain them! Kill Lurks! By Grumney! Up! Kazoo! Yes! To the forge! Down! Down! Will of Iron! Ready to strike. Fight. Vengeance. Runes of spell breaking. Vengeance. The clans unite.
I think I have too much utility. Too much utility and not enough killing. For a fight like this, I don't think I have enough.
Nothing can stop us.
To be fair.
Kill them. Scoff. Scoff.
Like, 3 Slayer units doesn't do it here. Nah, you need, like, Longbeards with great weapons for sure.
Oath and steel. Vengeance. Kazoo.
Because the Slayers just die.
Casting the room.
The Slayers just die to nothing. They die to, like, Marauders. This shit is doomed.
Age, wealth, and skill. Kill them. It is a reckoning.
No, this is doomed. We win! We're... What? Valiant defeat. He left the game. We won, Mochi. We did it. Easy win. Easy win. We were gonna win anyways. Yeah, that guy's connection was doo-doo, though, to be fair. I took too much utility, man. I keep taking, like, Slayers into Chaos. It's just not worth it. It's not worth it. Just take a bunch of fucking great weapon Longbeards, sit them in a fucking line, surround yourself, like, Rune of Doom, Rune of Speed. I think I'll just stop taking Slayers. They just don't do anything. What are you doing? If only they were unkillable for 40 seconds. Yeah, true. That is true. What are you doing? That is true. I want to see Ironbreakers. I mean... Ironbreakers... They're not that fun to use. I mean, they kind of just sit there and don't do anything. It's like they blast away units and then sit there for... until you can break their leadership, which is forever. I want to do that again, though, without, like, 3 Slayer units. Maybe just 1 Slayer unit. The fucking AI was so broken anyways. He hit my unit and they just stopped charging. And then everyone else just charged in at different times. Weird, bro. Very weird. Take this. I mean, there's no melee units that'll beat this. At all. But... sure. Not the best looking thing, but sure. Sure. Well, there was just stuff today that came out, so I just kind of wanted to see it. And then after that, I'm like, yeah. Because I'm going to go play League maybe after, like, one more game of this. One more. Most likely. Just one more. I've been here for, like, what, 2 hours? Yeah, about 2 hours at this point. I mean, to be fair, we've only been watching stuff, which today is a day to watch things, because, like, a lot of things came out. But I will go play League. Listen, League is just, you piss chill. You don't even think about the gameplay because it's so second nature. It's like back of your fucking hand. You don't, I don't have to think about playing that game. I don't have to think about playing most games that I play. Everything is just like, okay, I've done this 1,000 times. I've done this 10,000 times. I've done this for 10 years. A lot of it's just you do it, you know? You don't think. We reacting now? I mean, if there's videos that I want to watch, yeah, why not? Not in the same sense that, like, you know, XQC watches, I don't know, the stupidest shit and has, like, 50,000 people, like, pogging. But if it pertains to something I like, sure. If it pertains to something I like, why not?
Shine like roe. The clans unite. Yes, then. Down. Vengeance. Iron drakes.
I have no AP.
Dwarf warriors. Yes. Kill hooks. It is a reckoning. Gyrocopter.
I mean, that I don't know. I'd have to go look at the sprue. Which I don't have it with me, unfortunately. Lee's VGU looks good, yeah. It should be the same amount of torsos as you get for warriors. Oh, you said warrior and quarrelers. I mean, if you have the box, it should show you, no? Because I'd have to have the sprue on hand to see, which I don't have it with me.
Let's turn the tide. Prepare bombing run. Gyrocopter.
We're just gonna get shot to death by goblins. Like, there's no way we're not. No shields. It's just goblins.
Iron drakes. Vengeance. Hey.
Oh, and the big gun? Nah, it's doomed. It's so doomed. No shit, I don't have any, like, anti-large.
By the ancestors.
Oh, that is a little rough.
Tag them down. Kasuk. Move it out. The White Dwarf. I shall. Pour on the pool.
I've got hammerers beating up goblins. You couldn't have less of a value than hammerers beating up goblins.
Move to attack.
How slow is
Vengeance. Iron drakes. Off we go. Bring. To it! Right! Whoa! Through! If your targets will! Go! It is a reckoning! Strike out! To the high place! Rock out! Axes out! Slayers! Go! Kill anything without the
Damn, Grombernal is just dead. What the fuck?
Attack! Weaker than most.
We are, in a bit of a problem.
As you say, to the High King and Guild approved. Aye! Whoa! Go! Charge! Go! Hammers! Hammer! Move now! Attack the air! It is a reckoning! Bitch! Fast as you're able! Right fast! Get them! On my oath! But no! Through marsh and mountain! Pasta! Gyrocopter! Move now! And... Get my tools! Get that over! Hey, to arms! Yes, laddie! Bring the axe!
Grombrindle, please, just leave. Just leave, Grombrindle, just leave.
Nothing can stop us!
Run away, be a coward, you gotta run away.
Ah! Slayers! Down! Get moving!
That's the climate we're in. Run away.
For ale! Pour on the floor! Wait him on blood! Slayers! Score! Range far, range fast! Hit your target's will! Kill them! Ready to strike! We're the ancestors! Darrow cut it! Rock out!
This is looking pretty grim,
Commoners!
unfortunately.
That's an order! Pump those dwarven legs! A brisk bitch! Nothing can stop us! Pull out! Blow through! Kill them! Will do! That's up! Over here! Over there! Is it time? Go! Go! Blow through! Fight!
Not being able to kill the big gun is a big problem. Like, the big gun is just carrying the whole game. It's killing all the hammers. Shit.
Power of the ancestors, as you say. Yes, shoot the wizards. Rage fast, rage fast. Moving out. Going, move it. And unstoppable. Nothing can stop us. Move now. Get them.
Okay, well, this guy is banned.
Commoners! This takes me back! Very well! Boom! War! War of vengeance! Commoners! Adu! Adu! Understood! Nothing can stop us!
Is the the big gun will never run out of ammunition, unfortunately. It's just not happening. That's the state of the world. Can't. Can't even see, everything is so dark.
Attack the earth!
Dude, the Fanatics shit on Hammer is so hard.
What's your command? Pull out! Vengeance!
Grimgore came back, well, because the Hammers got killed by generic orc boys and a big gun. Or the big rock thing, whatever the fuck that thing is, just ruined everything. No! A single unit won the game. But then again, I guess it's just because I don't have anything to deal with it, so it's like, you kind of auto-lose, right? This thing is just such a wild card unit. I'm pretty sure even one cannon can't deal with it, like, realistically, but to be fair, that army is, like, full-blown elite. Well, the comp wasn't... I mean, it was countered, yeah, realistically. But again, it was only the big gun. If they didn't have the big gun, I would have won, for sure. Because, I mean, my Iron Drakes were gone, and the Iron Drakes can basically wipe every single unit in that game if they don't get insta-killed by a unit that has infinite ammo. For the sake of, like... Yeah. Oh, it's this guy again, bro. I don't like artillery in multiplayer. I find it too boring. I prefer to just run it down with like the biggest brain dead shit ever. Even structured games are a little too boring for me these days. Okay, sure. Hmm. Okay, let's go. Now that I watch someone else play, I know my micro is ass. Yeah, this game is a bit micro heavy. It's all infantry, though. It's not like you need, you know, I gotta build units, send them here, do this, do that, do that, do this. It's like, units just need to be where they need to be, and that's it. How do you normally deal with that thing? Cannons. Cannons, brimstone, gyrocopters. Realistically, that's it. You just try and shoot it. Because if you leave something like that unimpeded, I mean, it's thousands of gold. It's got massive insta-killing, armor-piercing, infinite ammo at the cost of health. If you don't have an answer to it, in that instance, I lose automatically. But not many people bring it, so it's kind of weird that he did. But it definitely does carry the game if you don't have an answer to it. Yeah, we did. It's fun. A lot of the new stuff is very fun. It's cool.
Hello, Mochi. Hello. What are you doing? Are you okay?
The clans unite!
Scarbrand, Giga Chad. We love to see it.
Catherine will march! Range far! Range fast! Range far! Range fast! Attack! It is a reckoning! Obey me!
Coward.
Ungrim Iron Fist!
You fucking coward.
War of vengeance! Nothing can stop us!
I don't really mind losing those cooldowns, to be honest. Whatever.
Go! Go! Attack the Earths! War of vengeance! Slay us!
Okay.
For the High King! Charge! Move off! Commoners! Move! I'll die willingly! The runes are cast! Agreed! The Iron Fist speaks! Aye! Now! Strike out! Charge! Slay a king! Very well! War of the fight! Drag on! Long beards! Kill orcs! Go! The axe of Dargo first! It is an order! My axe first! Vengeance! Kazook!
Oh, the screen is small. Are you serious? I didn't swap it over? My bad.
For the ancestors!
In my brain damage, I completely forgot. Oops. Oopsies.
Attack the odds!
Oopsies.
Ambulance! Down! Yes! Yes! Charge! Shield bearers, ho! Attack the odds! Range fire! Range fast! Kill them! Aye! Kazook! I will! Kill orcs!
Ah, fuck it, whatever.
Ambulance! Anak! Kill orcs! For mountain and home! Slayer! Ah! Alliance!
Scarbrand, no! What do you mean, Scarbrand, no? Fuck that creature.
Hi, Mochi.
I mean, I don't think Scarbrand into Ungrim and Gotrek with buffs and a debuff is the best thing, but it is Giga Chad.
Hello, Mochi. You're so cute.
Alright, let's do one more game and that's it. Khorne, the melee faction, can't win versus one in melee. They can't win versus anyone? I mean, to be fair, I only took full-blown melee dwarves with buffs. To be fair. And it's not that they should win, but I should have a good chance at winning. I mean, when you run Scarbrand into, like, two of the biggest monster killer melee units that the dwarves have, well, they are the biggest, period. It's not really going to be a good time. It's a fun matchup, though. Khorne is always fun. Just brain damage grinder gameplay is fun. Thunderbard's looking insane. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I won't change the screen. I'll leave it here. Ugh. Sure. Ugh. I don't have anything to kill, like, Silverthorn arrows. Okay, fuck that. Let's just do, like, this. No Slayers. Chariots are a problem. I mean... What if I just say fuck the Slayers? I think we just say fuck the Slayers. Sure. Sure. Oh, the Chaos Dwarves, shit! I mean, I don't think they're bad. I just don't see many people playing them. I would love Snorri. I feel like we should have got Snorri in here. Like, come on. Snorri could be free LC. Long Drong could be free LC. Bugman could be free LC. I think those three. I mean, you're even missing Burluxin, but at this point, I think Malachi was cooler than Burluxin, so they just didn't put him in. Found the Dwarfs to be one of the more fun campaigns. Longdrang became an ROR, but not himself. His unit did. As did Bugman's Rangers in, like, the first... No, not the first game. First DLC? It's just interesting to have units in the game, but not the one thing that made the units what the units are. You know what I mean? Yeah, there you go. Well, I mean, we haven't had, but like, there hasn't even been a thought for Bugman, and his Rangers have been in the game for, like, ages. It's a very elite army. Okay, maybe I should have went Brims.
Long beards for the ancestor gods. Long beards. Kill orcs. There's nothing I can't fix. Vengeance. Iron drakes. Bring them down. The clans unite. Move off. If you like. Dive bomb. Kill orcs. Strike out.
What the fuck? So he's got shooting units somewhere? Clearly. Sisters of Avalon.
Move now! Iron drakes! Gyrocopter! For the Karazanko! Go! Then! Kill Baron! Oh! As you command! Aye, it's about time! Aye, as you command! Castleton! Castleton! Will of Iron! Towie attack! Move! Now! Shoot! Move now! Do not engage! Nothing can stop us! Strike the runes! Range fire! Range fast! Oath and steel! The runes are cast! Pour on the floor! Kazakan Kazakita! Charge! Gyrocopter! For the ancestor gods! Long beards! Fire up them! Castle! Move now! Charge! Gyrocopter! Iron drakes! Ready to strike! Come on! Strike out! To the ford! Range far, range fast! Fight! Kazook! On the way! Kill orcs! Darway attack! For the killers and go! Long beards! Charge! Plow through! Scoff! Hunt the orcs! Kazakan Kazakita! Runriki! All is chaos! The anvil's might! It intends our trove! Thoric Ironbrow! Kazu! Scuff! If I must! Yes! Down! We are relentless! Plow through! Moving out! Yes! Move! Nothing can stop us! Will do! Put those woven lights! Move to attack! Strike out! Go! Doom! Axes out! And charge! Gyrocopter! Zap! Kill them! Yes! Move now! Nothing can stop us! Anad! Vengeance!
What are these? Silver and Guard? I don't even know what those are. These are elite units or something? I have absolutely no idea what those are.
Range far! Range fast! Gyrocopter! Range far! Range fast! Move now! War of vengeance! Pick your targets well! Take him down! Strike out! Now! Thoric Ironbrow! Kazook! Attack the axe! Vengeance!
When you wish you had Slayers, but now you have to fight a bunch of dragons without Slayers.
Come on! Dowie missiles! Range far! Range fast! Pump those dwarfen legs! Axes out, lads! Master Engineer! Aye! It is an order! Gyrocopter! Blow through! Wrath and ruin! That'll do! Nothing can stop us! It is a reckoning! Charge! Aye, lad, I'll do it! Nothing can stop us! Have at them! We are relentless! Go! Kill orcs! Pump those dwarfen legs! Obey me! For the Karazhan gore! Fire on the foe! Pump those dwarfen legs! Oath and steel! Gyrocopter! As you command! Yes! Go!
Thoughts on the new Dwarf rework? I mean, I don't play campaign, man. I have nothing to say about the campaign mechanics. I watched like a 2-minute video on something where they've separated like the tech tree into the guilds and the clans, so you've got like your income and all that crap, and then your infantry, and you know, you now have to go out and do things, and you get gold for getting grudges, I think, something like that. I'm not really a campaign guy. They are spearmen with magic resist and more armor. I don't think spears are very good into dwarves, but that is cool. Okay, do we do maybe one more game and then I swap over? Yeah, I'm not really a big campaign guy, honestly. I used to play campaign a little bit, but I gave up. Oh my god, I'm fighting King Kong. They're good against gyros. Everything's good against gyros if they're melee. Okay, let's just try this again with more longbeards. And maybe take Gotrek, because instead of the Thane does nothing, the Thane gives me like 1 bit of damage and that's it, but Gotrek can actually kind of give him a whopping. Give him a whopping. Speed, negation. I don't even have Slayers. I have 1 Slayer. Speed, negation. Fuck the breaking. Speed, negation. 1 Slayer unit? This is just too expensive. Gotrek is so much money. I mean, sure, let's roll. Are you Godzilla then? Am I really? In size? If only we had some kind of dwarven launcher to launch dwarves at them. Yeah, that's kind of a big deal. That's kind of a big deal. Shoot dwarves into the enemy. I don't know if that'd be very ethical. Hi, Mochi. What's up? What's up, bro? I mean, they've got rockets. I don't see why there couldn't be. It's just a matter of who the hell wants to wield it, knowing it's so experimental. They've got miniguns. I mean, Malachi McKyson kind of had some shit going around with him. The gyro ball. Mods, dude. If you're a modder, you could go crazy with this game, which I'm sure they already have, because there's like a billion mods, and it's like the modders have literally given you multiple games worth of content to already have games worth of content. You know? Mochi still thinks Ivana's in the other room. Little does he know that she left like an hour ago. It's like that I'm a cutie pie meme, where he's like echoing through the halls of his mansion, and his wife and animals left him, but he's still gaming. That's an old meme. That's a really old one. I remember the old memes. I mean, the mod, there's a lot of mods, right? You don't have to download all of them, obviously, but you can pick and choose.
Vengeance! Vengeance! Longbeards! Ready! Dom Grong! Thorek Ironbrow!
Please no skull cannons. Please no Minotaur spam, because if there's Minotaur spam, we just lose.
Longbeards!
Mochi, we just lose if they have Minotaurs. What are your thoughts? We just lose. Just lose.
Lord of Vengeance! Dowie, listen. What?
I do now. Am I addicted to League? I'm addicted to living. Yeah, he's got 3 units of Minotaurs. We're just fucked. I'm not gonna lie. The Marauders are worthless, but it's very interesting to where
Wealth and skill!
there's so much that this game has. It's like you build for one thing and then you get the other thing, you know what I mean? It's a little bit unlucky. And one Slayer unit, and it's not even like ROR. Kind of a problem, but we'll see. At least I have Go Trek, if it means anything.
Attack! Thorek Ironbrow! Vengeance! Agreed! From! Hammerers! Move now! Yes! Dot! Blow through! Cut off!
Are we just doing this? I didn't realize we're actually just sitting here and doing this, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't realize we were doing this. I was very unaware. I thought he was just kind of like fucking around, not actually playing it.
The anvil's might!
Okay, well, I guess he just griefs his character away. Fine by me.
Go! Pursuit! Go! Fight! For the ancestors! War of vengeance! My axe bursts! God! It is a reckoning! Nothing can stop us! Hammerers! For the ancestors! Thorek Ironbrow! Come on! Slayers! Hammerers! Anu! Strike the runes! Slay everything without a beard! The runes are cast! It is a reckoning! Master of runecraft! Move to attack! Longbeards! Killer!
Unfortunately, I don't have Slayers. I have the Slayer, but I don't have an actual Slayer. Like, that's doing anything of value. The one time I don't go Slayer spam, they get 3 units of... like, it's just how the game works, I guess. Unlucky. That's just how the game works. Comps versus comps, build a bunch of shit, lose, build a bunch of shit, win. Build a bunch of shit, lose. Very unlucky.
Battle fever! Thoric iron brow! Wrath and ruin! Oath and steel! Fight!
At least Gotrek's still kind of giving it to him, but like, nah, it's a bit rough.
Slayers! Now! All right then! Oh yes! Runes of spellbreaking! Randy! Woohoo! Slay!
Having Gotrek in your army should win battles no matter what. The dude would use a Minotaur as a... yeah, I mean, Gotrek is just so expensive. He's so expensive for multiplayer.
On my way!
Very fucking expensive.
That'll do! Casting the runes! The clans unite! Moving out! By
And he's
Gromley!
badass, but... you know. Oh, is this guy gonna go down? Is this the Chaos Cultist? Cultist of Corn? You're fucking dead. Get the fuck out of here.
Yes!
You
Go,
bastard
go!
creature.
Rulriki! Slayer! Slay the Oathbreakers! I'll die with
Exact. I mean, Gotrek's not even a legendary lord, though. Gotrek is, Gotrek's a legendary hero. As he should be, right? Damn, okay, they're just kind of throwing him into the grinder. Hold up. Well, Felix is anti-infantry. Gotrek is anti-large, right? Realistically, he's like anti-elite. Okay, Gotrek took out both cultists. Lore-friendly.
As you come! It is a reckoning.
I mean, if my infantry comes back, it's still like turbo-doomed, but you never know, right? But probably very doomed. This is like turbo over. The one time I don't go triple Slayer with like Ungrim and Gotrek and all this shit, it's like you win with the right build, then you lose with the wrong build, and you win with the right build, then you lose with the wrong build.
Hearth and home. Strike the runes. Axes out
It's the RNG differential.
for the Parazankor. War of vengeance.
The Hammerers came back, but I don't think it matters.
Gotrek.
Yeah.
Descarades.
Gotrek, you dog shit character. He's so fucking fast, though. Of all the dwarf characters, Gotrek is definitely the fastest.
Feel my
Like, this guy sprints. He sprints it down mid. Yeah, good try. All right, that's it for me. Win or lose, I'm out of here. I need to go onto the other channel and muck about. Unfortunately, too many Minotaurs. Can't beat the Minotaurs. Hammerers get insta-killed by Minotaurs. Longbeards, insta-killed by Minotaurs. All right, guys. I'm out of here. Be well. Stay safe. I'll see you all later today or momentarily on the other channel. So with that being said, peace, peace. And I'll see you later.